Hey, everybody. This is a very special podcast, a very special Saturday afternoon podcast. We're watching an old fight from 1954 that's supposed to be a pro wrestling match with Garry Tonon, one of the best jiu-jitsu artists in America today, one of the hot, young fucking killers of grappling, and, of course, my brother, Eddie Bravo.
Yo.
Yo, holla. And we're watching this video that we found. All of us found this on the underground. Someone posted it. I'll have to give the dude props. I forget his name. But it's Kimura, the guy who the shoulder lock, the Kimura was named after because he used it on Elio Gracie back in the, what was that, like the 40s or something like that?
Man, I don't know. It could be
I don't know when that was.
I wouldn't know.
Well, this
you
is
told me 1962. I wouldn't know.
It was a long ass time ago.
Black and white era.
Point being, he did some pro wrestling, and he did a pro wrestling match with this guy. I think I'm saying this right. Rikidozan. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm just reading it. I never heard anybody say it.
That's a big Japanese dude.
He's huge. He's huge. And this match starts out like this. Starts out a pro wrestling match where they're like doing a bunch of stuff. They're kind of allowing each other to push each other around. And there, somewhere in the match, it becomes like a war. And the big dude, right there, the kick to the balls. Look at this. Boom, right hand. And this just turns into a fight. This is 100% a fight now.
Oh, yeah.
He's looking around panicking. He's going, what the fuck's going on?
He's panicking. He tries to clinch. And this is real now. This is a real single. Like, he's fucked up. Look, the referee says, don't do that. And boom, he punches him in the face. Shit. He's poking him in the eyes. He kicks him.
Oh, shit.
Kicks him again. Wait for this, though. This gets even crazier. Look at this.
Open hand slaps.
He soccer kicks him, man. He headlocks him. Boom. Look at this shit. This is totally real now. Boom. Look at that.
Shit.
I mean, he's fucked up right now. And this dude is still beating his ass.
Oh,
Just lets it go.
Oh, my God.
Referee doesn't know if it's fake or not, I guess. I don't know. I mean, let's check this out. Here's the finishing combo. The referee looks at his eyes. You're fine. Back in.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
I think the ref's afraid he'll kick his ass,
walk
too.
in the park.
And look at that the left hand that he dropped him with. 100% legit.
Wow.
100% legit. Back that up just a little bit, Jamie, to that last combination. Right about there. I mean, this you don't fake shit like this. Like when he stood up, it was a little bit before this, Jamie, that he soccer kicked him. Go a little bit before this.
Yeah, when he was against the ropes.
Right there, Jamie. That's good. See, this is when the dude is desperately scrambling, trying to take him to the ground. And Rikidozan, again, I hope I'm saying that right, just is beating that ass. And he's mostly doing open hands, but he's kicking him too. And then he kicks him again. Boom. And the bitch slap right to the ear.
Did you see Kimura walked to the ref and looked at him and said, dude, what the fuck is going on here?
Look at that. Boom. I mean, you cannot fake head kicks like that. That's 100% legit. This guy is getting the fuck beat out of him. It's crazy, man. I mean, he gets up. He's already, like, really badly fucked up. The referee checks his eye.
Oh, my God.
Like, dude, don't worry about your eye.
Dude, there's a good chance that knockout was just him like, I don't know how to end this. Let me just drop to the fucking floor and pretend like I can't breathe.
Maybe, right? That last left hand holding onto the ropes.
It worked.
He got fucked up, man. It's so crazy. I've never seen anything like that before.
Just stay down, dude.
Stay down.
Where it starts out just a pro wrestling match and turns into full-on Vale Tudo. See, this is so cool. We were talking about this before the podcast started, that it's so cool that shit like this exists, and we can watch some, like, historical moments in martial arts. This is a historical moment.
Wow. I wonder what the aftermath was. Did
guy
he want a rematch or something?
No, he got murdered.
Who got murdered?
The big guy.
Because of this? Probably, huh?
That's the story that, that's the legend. How much of it is true, who knows?
You know what? I would lean to believe that.
Yeah.
Because that guy got his ass thoroughly kicked. He got the double crossed on TV, and he could have died.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have died. He was getting soccer kicked hard.
I can definitely see Kimura having some deep connections with the Yakuza, and they said, we got to kill this motherfucker. That said, no rematch, no grappling match, no submission only, no Metal Morris. Kill this motherfucker.
Or just himself killing him.
Yeah. So
just kill him quick.
Yeah.
Murder him. Make it ugly.
the dude who put the video up is Ian Paisley is my hero. That's his name on the underground. So thanks to that dude.
That was one of the most brutal ass kickings ever of all time, caught on video.
And there's another dude who posted something. His name is Polonista, Polonista, I guess you would say it. And he wrote a whole breakdown of what happened. And apparently this Rikidozan guy, Kimura was saying that Rikidozan, that he got taken for greed and the money and the fame. He lost his mind and just started beating the fuck out of the dude. And so apparently they stabbed him with a urine-soaked knife. That's what the story is. This is so crazy. The story is.
What does that do? What
He
does piss
died
do?
like
I thought
days
you're
later.
supposed to drink it.
We ran out of the poison tip.
Maybe only your own. Maybe.
Yeah, someone else's piss gets inside of you, you're fucked.
It could be. Well, they do those poop things where they take poop and they transmit fecal matter, they transplant it to someone's intestinal tract, and apparently it's supposed to be like good for your body, like to get that bacteria, like somebody else's bacteria in your body through a fecal transplant.
Makes sense.
Kind of. But not really, right?
Yeah.
You would want to think that the health of your... You think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. You do.
There's no waiting list for that shit. Kidneys, yes. Kidneys, yes. You wait 2 years for kidney. Liver, shit. Dude, you better be white.
That's so true.
You know what I mean?
That's so
shit.
You can all everybody give it to you.
You got fresh shit. You know, this shit, you be at the operating table and they got fresh shit.
Yeah, the doctors just shit right
Grade
in there.
A. Doctor
They don't even
shit.
need to go anywhere.
You get like vegan shit is the best, right?
No, that's
added
the worst.
hormones. No added hormones.
But you're tired all the time. You need naps. You guys gave me some bum shit.
Vegan shit will kill you.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have the right amino acid chains.
So this guy Rikidozan, like if you watch that might be like one of the first ever double crosses that's on like video.
I don't think there's anything like that on World Star Hip Hop even. Seriously, think about that.
Ah, it's so true.
It's so clear, even though it's black and white and 100 years ago. You see the strikes clearly, and there's lights and.
That's what
turn
one of the
that
guys.
into a new Thug Life video.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, someone's definitely going to.
Oh, yeah.
Sunglasses will drop down. Rikidozan when they got his hands up in the air. For real, man. Yeah, that's a ruthless beatdown.
Not quite as ruthless as that Suge Knight fucking thing. Holy shit.
That was horrible. That's horrible, man. How
People
horrible
kept telling
was
me
that to
about it,
watch?
and I just didn't get to it. And then finally someone said, dude, sit down, watch this shit. I go, okay. It's brutal.
Dude, we watched it on the air. Yeah, we watched it live. Like, not live, but the first time I saw it, and it was unbelievable. It's hard to imagine that someone could do that. Just ran those dudes over.
He's saying that now that the video's out, now people are gonna see the truth, that it was self-defense.
Whoa.
That's what he said.
Oh, my God, he's crazy.
That's what he
He
said.
said one guy's coming after him with a gun. That's why.
So he had to run him over
Yeah.
because of the gun.
Well, it seems like there was a gun in that video. I mean, or something that the guy took out and put in the gun spot behind your lower back. I mean, does somebody ever do that with a comb? Like, man, dude got
Walkie-talkies,
ran
yes.
over. Let me get his comb.
Yeah.
And stick it in the crack of your butt. No, that's you only put guns back
that's
there.
that's
a good
When a
point.
guy does that and he sticks something behind their back, it's owning a gun. It's never a cell phone. It's never anything else. It's a fucking gun. That's it. It's a gun. Nobody puts anything back there but a gun. What the fuck else do you hold behind
Belts?
your ass cheeks,
Belts?
between your ass cheeks and your pants?
Jiu-jitsu belts, when I give promotions, I hide it behind my butt and then I just show up.
True, you do, you do.
That's the only thing.
That's true,
I was going
you
to
do.
promote him, Your
Yeah.
Honor. He's been training 4 years straight, 3 times a week, Your Honor. 3 times. I have the documents here. He's 3 times a week for 2 years.
Oh,
He was
shit.
due for his brown belt.
Yeah. Well, he ran over the brown belt too then. He ran over that dude. He ran over that dude. And that dude apparently lived. The second guy died. The second guy ran over his head.
Yes, the guy that went flying off screen.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Yeah. I mean, the stories about that. those are gonna go on for eternity.
The rap world, holy shit! If you're in that rap music world, the more famous you get, it's like in China. The more famous you get in China, the triads take over. You know what I mean? They're like, you got to pay us, son. We're responsible for this shit. You know, we own the movie houses or whatever. And in the rap world, look at the T.I.'s always walking around with a gun. He went to jail. It's like. People are killing each other.
Can't get too big, man.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how much
Nobody
the
wants to
rap
get too
world is attached to like organized crime or crime or violence.
And it's totally
or guns.
okay. It's okay because we accepted NWA. NWA was not real. It was like Slayer pretending they were satanic. NWA, there were dudes pretending to be ruthless gangsters. In that album, you can't even do an album like that now. They rape a 14-year-old preacher's daughter in the drive-in in one of the songs. They're pulling a train on her, and they're singing about it. It's a song about that. And then a song about killing hookers. One less bitch I got to worry about.
Yeah.
They have like little acting scenes in between every song. There's a scene where they pull up next to a hooker and she goes, "Hey, what you want to do? What you want to do?" He goes, "Come in." He goes, "Oh, what you want?" And he goes, "Let me go. Shut up. Shoot that bitch. Pop. Let me go. Shoot that bitch." That's before One Less Bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's okay. So we accepted all that shit. So
not just accepted it, they sold it.
yeah, and it was huge.
Huge.
And none of it was true. It was just made up
really good
story.
points.
Yeah. It was like The Exorcist. It's like the director and the writer, they're not satanic.
Do you think that doing that though just opened the door to real thugs? Like how many real thugs?
Have you seen who Trinidad James? You know who that is?
No.
Dude, pull up Trinidad James, all gold, everything. You tell me if this character is real or not. But it's the craziest thing ever. Trinidad James.
Jamie's smiling.
You're gonna. It's incredible. This is gonna be your new favorite rapper.
Okay.
The name of the album, the name of the song is All Gold Everything.
He's gonna take over Nas for me? Come on, son. Nas has got my sweet spot.
Anyways,
What's that?
I gotta cleverly play this.
You gotta cleverly play this?
Why?
So we don't get yanked
Oh,
off
really?
the air. Okay.
Oh.
Well, just don't show the video at all. Just show all of our faces, like, cause it just go back and forth in the faces.
without
Let us see it.
the video.
Well, we'll watch the video.
okay.
We'll watch the video. All gold, everything.
All
this is
gold?
the explicit version.
Look, check this out.
Barbecuing. They have guns right away. Oh my goodness.
That's Trinidad.
I love this guy. I love his nails. Look how long his nails are. That guy ain't picking up shit.
Gold all in my watch.
Look at his nails. He's
Gold.
got French tips on his nails. He does. Wow.
Look at all that cash.
That's a lot of money.
This is like something in your act. You know what I
Yeah, it
mean?
is.
You need to start making videos like this to get more street cred in the jiu-jitsu world.
Is this the real dude, you think?
That's my question. Is this guy for real?
That Bobby Shmurda and his crew, they all got arrested for this stuff.
He's got a little
arrested?
puppy. He's got a puppy
This
this
whole
whole
crew
time.
with Bobby Shmurda and
Puppy
the
bling.
murder game.
That's
Puppy swag.
That evens out all
Hold
the
on.
gold.
Jamie, what are you
They
saying,
have
Jamie?
federal gun charges on them for what they're talking about in their songs. They went and looked at it. And
Oh,
they've
that's
killed
these
people.
guys?
Not these guys, but there are people like this. Not in the same crew or anything like that. This is just another famous rapper.
But not these guys.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd heard that recently some guy is in jail, some guy from San Diego, he's like a rapper, and he's flashing like gang signs. He's had no criminal history at all.
That's a different thing too.
It's a different thing too? Well, that's a wonderful video. I like his style. I like his teethus.
And he's got the puppy. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
All that shit, but he's got the cutest thing.
It's a pit bull puppy, though.
Yeah, it's
of
to
course.
balance out all the gold.
All right, have you seen that white kid with tattoos on his face? He calls himself Stitches.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna find you your new favorite song.
Okay, that sounds good.
Here's
I
your
already
new
love
favorite
it.
song.
I
Here's
don't
your
have
new
to
favorite
see
song. This is Brick in Your Face. This is my favorite stupid
your
song.
face.
Look, it's got 5 million hits. America is in trouble. Okay, he's an 18-year-old rapper from Miami.
And his
calls
name is
himself
Stitches.
Well, he's got a tattoo on his
love
face
it.
of stitches across his mouth, like the Joker.
Is he white or black?
White as fuck.
He's a white guy.
Yeah, man. Okay, white people representing. It's
Damn.
2015. He's got a dope car. I'll put that brick in your face.
I love this dude. Oh my God. Holy shit.
He's got an AK-47 tattooed on his face. I'll put that brick in your face. Now what you gonna do with it? This is Florida. That's what this is.
This is my new favorite rapper.
I told you.
He's better than Trinidad James.
I told you.
There's
Look,
no puppies sweetened in this one.
Yeah.
He's got all platinum teeth or gold. It's hard to tell. The video is black and
he
white.
had
Assault rifles.
Yeah.
He had a machine gun and an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Like this.
Exactly.
He needs a tank. You gotta take you tank and Wolverines.
I love
no pit
selling
bulls.
blow.
He's like Hellraiser. I love smelling blow.
Selling.
Oh.
I love selling blow. He's running around with guns.
It's spreading cocaine all over the
Yeah,
house.
and not only is he saying I love selling blow, but it's flashing the words.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love, like, that was important. We have to make sure that the audience understands that. I don't think it's clear enough.
You know what
I
he's
think there was
doing?
arguments about it.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing, man? He's like, okay, everybody thinks they're crazy. Watch this. Watch this. You think you fucking top the crazy Olympics, motherfucker? I'm going to tattoo guns on my face and stitches. I'm only 18, and I'm just going to say it. I love selling blow. That's what I'm going to say it. I'm going to print it across the screen. I'm going to have a gun in every scene.
Wow. Wow. Does he doesn't even have any white friends. What's up with that? He's racist.
No, you're better off. This is the way
There's
to go.
no white guys in this video. He's
White
the only
guys-
white guy.
White guys are lame. They get in the way.
I can't even spot one white guy except for him. He probably hates white people.
Now what you gonna do with it? That's what you're gonna be saying. It's gonna be all day. It's gonna be in your head. Now what you gonna do with it? Now what you gonna do with it?
Dude.
It's gonna be my new tagline after I submit people.
Yeah. Now what you gonna do with
it?
it? That's rude, Garry Tonon. How dare you? First you win and then you stick it in
The
your
only
face.
other white guy was the Hellraiser guy. You know what I mean?
I think that was him. I think that was him with a mask on. I
Really?
think that was supposed to be him.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
I'm just my interpretation of the art.
I think he should have stayed 100% black. Should have used
think
someone
so?
else. Hellraiser kind of brought it back to white people because black people don't like Hellraiser.
And
It should have been Spawn or
True.
something, you know?
That's a very good point because Hellraiser was a white guy in the movie.
And black people hate scary movies. Generally speaking, I'm sure. Dude, I know a black guy who loves scary movies. Generally.
Yeah, as all
Generally.
stereotypical things are generalizations about a race of people.
That's a generalization. Yeah, generally. By nature.
You got to be able to generalize.
I love how
You
that
got to be able to
same shit.
generalize. You know what I mean? Because if you can't generalize, then you can't make any fucking points.
That's so true.
You know what I mean? You can't make any points. Like, no,
Yeah.
I know one guy that doesn't do that. I'm like, yes, I know a guy too, but generally, Jesus Christ.
That's one of the things where before you say what you just said, you go, yeah, I know this might sound a little bit racist, but
Yeah, or I'm not racist, but you ever see that
Yeah.
Twitter feed? I'm not racist. It's all people saying racist shit. They go, I'm not racist, but, and then they say some racist shit.
Like what? What's the most racist?
I'll find
Can
one
you
for you.
can you read some racist shit and not be accused of being racist?
We'll find out.
I don't think so. Definitely not.
Because if someone was telling a story about some racist white guy who said the N-word to a black guy and then a black guy hit him or something,
Okay.
can you tell that story and use that word, or do you have to say N-word again when describing the story? It's a tough one, right? Because Howard Stern just says the word. Because when he talks about someone else saying
Hold on
it,
a second. Look at this one right here. Jamie, stop right there. I'm not racist, but will not stand to see my country attacked by black whiners that feel sorry for themselves. Quit breaking the law, ass.
oh, these are real tweets.
Well put.
Okay.
Well put.
Garry Tonon.
They're
Well
good.
put. He's got a point. What a fucking moron.
There's a difference
good
between
Lord.
High level
an
of
African
education.
American and a N-word.
Yeah. You're not even saying the word?
No, I'm not. Until I'm Mexican, so I could actually get away with it if I say N-I-G-G-A. But if I can't do the other one.
But you can't even say it. You can't, not even calling someone it. Not calling a person a nigger, but saying the word. Like me saying it right now. You're like, oh,
You can't say it.
How come you can't say it?
He just did.
It's
It's
racist.
over.
It's racist.
No, it's. I think it's
They
racist
have one word.
to call someone.
They
it,
have a
for
word.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They have a word. It's no big deal.
Dude, but like, what if you're
Mexicans got one too. You can't say wetback. We get
Really?
pissed off too.
What if you're like
Wetback?
reading Tom
Wetback.
Sawyer to like a group of small children? You know,
If a guy said called me a wetback, that would be very offensive.
That doesn't seem that.
It's not quite as strong as the N word, but it's up there. It's like bronze medal. You know what I mean? And N is like the gold medal year after year.
Not even being racist, but walking behind black people in the hallways is the last place I ever want to be.
No, that's exactly what you're being.
What the fuck is not even being racist? Oh my god. I literally am not racist at all, but like I don't get why a lot of black people feel the need to be ignorant literally all the time.
Wow.
He's talking about Trinidad James.
There's a double literally and no period. I'm not feeling that sentence. I'm not racist, but what is it? Caucasians are evil as hell. SMH. I got a real issue with SMH.
What does that mean again?
Shake my head.
Oh my
Damn. Just stop. Stop. Cut the shit. Especially white people. Oh my God, look at this one. I'm not racist, but Justin, please stop hanging with black people. They're making you too ghetto. People think you're trying to be black.
Did you hear what Seth Rogan said about Justin Bieber?
No,
He said
I
on
heard
Howard
about this
Stern,
one.
he said that he thought he was going to meet Justin. He thought, okay, he's going to actually be a cool guy. Watch. He expected him to be a cool guy, but Seth threw him under the bus, and he said he was, I don't know the exact word, so I don't, just the opposite of cool.
Not a nice guy. A douchebag.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought about that. He got so famous so young, and he's really fucking good looking. He's a guest model now. He's on Sunset, and he's like laying with the chick for gas or something like that. The guy's a really good looking guy. If he wasn't a musician, he would still get mad chicks. So how is a guy like that not going to be a douchebag? Impossible.
It is tough.
He's got it lined
Impossible.
up against him.
Impossible. Everybody's kissing his ass all fucking day. Mm-hmm. He's really good looking.
Rich
he can
as hell.
sing. He's very talented. I mean, his songs I would never buy as CDs, but the dude can sing really good. He can play guitar. He shreds on drums. He's been a musician his whole life. He's actually very talented. But there's no way that guy's gonna make it through the teens. And now he's 21, 22, or just 21 now. But how are you gonna get there through all that and not be a douchebag?
You know,
it's
there
impossible.
was a recent scientific study done that proves that assholes get more chicks. John Danaher just cued us into this one.
I believe it.
They did a study. I'm not 100% sure where or when, but they had women analyze photos of different, pictures of men doing different facial expressions, and the men with like scowls and like their chest puffed out. Essentially, what you would look at somebody and be like, "Oh yeah, that dude's an asshole," like right off your perception. All right, those got higher ratings in terms of good looks than the guys that were smiling and looked happy.
The only
it proves now
problem
scientifically that
with those
assholes get more
studies-
chicks.
Yeah, but those studies are all who are the people that were in those studies? That would make a huge difference. If it was young people, older people, that could make a huge difference.
Yeah, I haven't done a full analysis of the study yet.
I
but
would want to
agree.
know,
I
right? Like
agree.
whether it's college kids that are young and don't know any better, or whether it's like women in their 30s. I would like to know like where the drop-off point is, where chicks get tired of dudes with their chest sticking out. Yeah. That for whatever reason might be appealing to an 18-year-old.
I think girls like that in the beginning, and then they end up fucking hating it. It's the thing that kills them. You know what I mean? They were attracted
Right.
to the barbarian and the fucking wild savage, but then now that they got him, they're like, damn, I wish he wasn't such a fucking savage, because other bitches like that too. So then they end up hating that shit, right? What do you
Could
think?
be.
Yeah, but it's okay because that asshole is just gonna move on to another chick that's totally okay with that. So
For a
it really
while,
doesn't
until it wears
matter
off?
at all. That asshole's not looking to settle down with like one chick.
Yeah.
Depends on which asshole.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think we're still stuck with the echoes of some ancient DNA. I think we still have, for whatever reason, we still have all the instincts that people had back when you had to worry about like marauding hordes coming over the top of the hill with swords and knives. Like, you had to be kind of an asshole back then. You know, and you had to fuck more than one chick because your kids are all going to get killed by arrows and fucking flying bodies and catapults.
Hey, that's a good point.
It's a very good point. If you're living back then, man,
you had
the
to.
odds of
You
your
had to.
DNA spreading. I mean, they used to have fertility rituals where they would hope that people got pregnant. The exact opposite of what we do today. Today, everybody's like, please get her fucking period, please. And back then, they had rituals. And by the time we were in our 20s, way before we had kids, those people back in the day, like where all our DNA came from, they were on their way out the door. They not only had kids, they were getting old. They were going to be dead by the time they're in their 30s. They'd probably be killed. Or disease or something. So that the reason why we're here is because of the same reason why women would like a guy that's aggressive or an asshole, because she thinks that guy could protect her. It's this bizarre fucking trick that nature's played on us. These thousands of years of evolution, technologically and historically, and how much information we have and the way we can communicate with each other, still doesn't work. Still doesn't totally stop that monkey fuck gene that's still deep down in the back, because chicks want some guy who could defend the castle.
Is that true, Gary?
I think so.
Studies show.
Study proved it, man. For sure.
Your personal study?
What's that? Oh, no, not my case study. No. I wish. I'm working on becoming more and more of an asshole. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm not there
Keep
yet.
heel hooking people that have fucking ACL reconstruction.
Yeah, I'll do my best, man. I'm chasing that dream because it's clear that they're more successful with women for sure. So.
Donaher's a wizard, that guy.
Yeah.
He is such an interesting dude. Such an interesting guy to talk to. Such a smart guy.
Yeah, I actually don't train there for the technique at all. It's just for the stories that he tells us. And
So you were saying before the podcast that you went to Danaher's to get a private or something like that at first, or to train with them, and then he introduced you to his leg lock system.
Yeah. I mean, just when I started training with John, at first it was just on an inconsistent basis, like once a week or so. A lot of MMA fighters come to like a Monday afternoon class, so I was going in there, and that was when I was in college, so I didn't have time to like go over all the time. But once I started going there consistently, I got a chance to see like kind of the strategy that he teaches, and leg locks aren't like his main focus, but I think he's made huge innovations in the leg lock game, to the point where, like, when he teaches it, it seems like that's like his main thing, But just definitely went over like our whole leg lock game. Me and Eddie
Cummings.
Eddie Cummings, yeah. Both of our leg lock games just stem from that for sure. You know what I mean?
He's such a smart dude.
Yeah.
He's just so on the ball about so many things, about all sorts of different aspects of life. He's a very interesting perspective.
Somebody recently asked me what was the best advice I'd ever been given. And I continually preach that this is it, and that John always tells us never to get married. But he lists four reasons why you could possibly get married. These are 4 circumstances, all of which have to exist. All right, otherwise, marriage just isn't an option. Okay, the first.
All at the same time, these 4?
Yeah, all 4. Otherwise, and then the offer's on the table. It's not like you definitely have to get married. It's like, all right, we understand why. So the first is that the woman has to be between the ages of 18 and 25. Okay. The second is that you have to be over the age of 55. The third is that you have to have no money. And the fourth is that she has to have tons of money. Otherwise, it's just not even a question. Don't get married. Stupid decision.
That's
not even in the wheelhouse.
Oh my God, that's funny. That is hilarious.
And I think he recently added some innovations to that theory with, like, the woman has to be an nymphomaniac or something like that. He keeps making it harder and harder to get married as we go along.
I would love to see Danaher debate like an angry woman on those points.
It would be,
so he's not married.
I'm sure he's done that many, many times.
But on those points,
yeah.
So
Really
Eddie's like, so he's not married.
Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Does he have a girlfriend?
What's that?
Does he have a girlfriend?
Oh man, we don't know anything about his personal life.
Okay.
He's a.
That's too personal. You can.
No. Honestly, even if I don't, we would never. We're not.
Would you consider him a player?
What's that?
Would you consider him a player?
I can't answer any questions like that. I don't know, but I'll tell you this.
This motherfucker's Kaiser Sose.
You guys think like we're like best friends with him because we train with him all the time. We know nothing about this guy as a human being. You know, like just like the little bits and pieces of like stories. We never hang out with him. None of that stuff. Like he's an enigma for sure. Like what he does once he steps off the mat, he disappears into the ether. As far as I'm concerned, I have no clue.
He was a philosophy student, right? When he started training in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Got to get him on the podcast.
Super smart guy.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
that would be an insane podcast.
Yeah, he'd be great. I would definitely love to have that. Meanwhile, Gary, you're competing tomorrow at the Eddie Bravo Invitational here in LA, and it's at the Orpheum Theater.
Downtown LA, the Orpheum.
Amazing place to have.
Starts at 4. Doors open at 3. The pay-per-view starts at 4. It's going to be on budovideos.com/EBI.
Yeah.
$14.99.
And even if you don't train, if you're thinking about training, you think like, man, maybe I should do something. You watch how fun it is, watch how exciting it is. I think that the only reason why jiu-jitsu and submission grappling, the way you're doing it on your show, the only reason why that's not on television is just they're not accustomed to it. Like you're accustomed to having golf on TV. So you sit there and watch golf, or you're accustomed to having cricket in some parts of the world. Like try watching cricket. You ever be in England?
Yeah.
You hit the channel and cricket's on, you're like, what the fuck?
I've tried
are
watching
you
it a couple
doing?
times just to see if I could figure it out by watching it, and I'm like, nope, I don't know why they keep running.
John told us some
that way.
cool history about cricket. There used to be a guy that was known. So at first they were only throwing 70-mile-an-hour pitches, and they started to increase it up to in the 90s and the 100-mile-an-hour pitch range. And in cricket, you're allowed to purposefully throw the ball at the person that's batting. So there's guys who just whale people in the face, and they're just known for that. Became famous for just smashing people in the face. With
How does
pitches.
that benefit you if you're hitting a?
What's that?
How does that? How's that good?
I guess if you hit the guy and fuck him up enough, it's gonna be hard for him to hit the ball anymore.
Yeah,
before, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if you get to knock him out. I don't know how that works, man.
The guy hitting the ball have all the gear on? Who has the gear on?
Oh yeah, this is back when they didn't even really have that much gear too.
Oh
This is
really?
Before they weren't even allowed to wear helmets or anything like that. It's just smashing.
No, here's the question: why would you not try to hit the guy every fucking time?
I think that's what
be
they
an
were
asshole.
trying to do. I think that's why you have a giant wide paddle. It's more of a defensive tool than an offensive tool
That's
in that
interesting.
circumstance.
Aim for the head every time.
So you think it was
After these
better,
guys.
that paddle worked better back when people were only throwing 60, 70 miles an hour. But now they're major league pitch. You ever seen a guy throw a fastball, a major league fastball? It's kind of terrifying.
on TV?
It's insane.
I've seen it live. It's kind of terrifying. The speed a guy can throw a ball, it's kind of like you go, whoa. If
When you
that hit
swing, it's you're guessing. It's in that area.
Yeah. Well, you're hoping that he's aiming for, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
a particular area, so you can guess. But
Who was the guy that died, and then they started instituting those helmets? He's a famous baseball player. He got hit he might not have died. He might have got really fucked up and was never the same again. But I believe he played for the Red Sox. But it was when I was a kid. This guy got hit with a ball and really fucked up, and his career was done. He was never the same again. And I remember thinking, man, one ball can do that? You can get hit with one ball and you're done. Who the fuck was that?
What's your last name? Hayward?
I don't know. It was a famous case.
Wade Boggs.
He died late. No, it's a different guy.
No.
He died later. Fuck. There's probably some sports fans right now screaming, "You got the whole fucking story wrong, faggot! You got the whole
Those are the
story
best.
wrong! That's not, you don't even like baseball! You got the whole story wrong!" My point being, if jiu-jitsu was on TV, if they got to see some wild matches, especially one of the things that I appreciate about watching your match, I got exposed to you by Eddie. The first one I saw was you and Crone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We talked about that
Doggy
shit. We talked about it for an hour.
Damn, son, that was an exciting match. Whoa! That was two dudes, two just razor sharp assassins trying to chop each other down. Man, what a match. Just what a match. That was incredible,
The first time I met you was at that seminar, right? In Florida? Were you at that seminar in Florida?
Florida, no. I don't think so.
What ended up happening was the reason why he did EBI 1 was originally I was going to do the sub-only worlds. That's what it was going to, SWO. That's what it was going to be. And Scotty from On the Mat, he was on board. He goes, dude, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Let me be a sponsor. And he goes, but can I get my boy Garry Tonon in there for sure? Because we were going to do a 170, the first one, sub-only worlds, 170, 60-man bracket. and I hadn't even heard of you. I don't keep track of the top jiu-jitsu guys. I really don't.
I don't do a good job of that either.
So I can barely keep track of the guys in the UFC. And he said, I got to get Garry Tonon. And I go, well, what I'm trying to do is get the best submission guys. I don't care about the best IBJJF points guys. I don't want points guys. I want submission guys. He goes, he's good. I go, okay, you sure? Okay. Like, I was going to put him in as a favor. I didn't know this guy. So Sub-Only Worlds, we had investors interested, and then it fell through. And then by the time I was ready to start pushing it again, I decided Victor got involved. Victor Davila from the UFC, he's a Spanish commentator, Spanish Joe Rogan. He got involved and said, let me be the investor, let me produce it, and let's call it Eddie Bravo Invitational. So, and I thought, and because he wanted to call it that for recognition. He goes, people would know right away, and it was his idea. EBI was his idea. I was like, calling it my name? Yeah. Are you sure? But then, as you know, think with a business mind, you think, okay, that is a good idea. Let me put myself out there, and I was, we were going to do Metamoris was already in the works, and it would be perfect. My name would be back. We could we could piggyback off that, So I thought it was a good strategy.
It's a great strategy.
Yeah, I have a well-established name already. To try and build up something else is so much harder.
Yeah.
So the very first one, we did 170, and we did featherweights too. We were doing UFC weights, and Garry, of course, he was going to be in Sub-Only, and Scotty from On the Mat was involved, and he said, my boy Garry, you got to put him in. And by that time, the BJJ Kumite was out, and I remembered who he was. That was the guy. That's Scotty Nelson's boy. So then went to Abu Dhabi 2013, and I remember the first time we met there. We were at the hotel lobby, and I still didn't know who you were. And I came up, and me and Vinny sat there.
I'm just like, hey guys.
I didn't know who he was, and then I go, oh shit, you're Garry. And then he goes on. It was one of the greatest Abu Dhabi. Even though you didn't get the gold medal, it was one of the greatest performances because that fight with Crone was absolutely incredible. And then after that, after you almost pulled it off, but he ended up finishing you. That's what made it crazy too. That's Hickson's son and Hickson's coaching. But after that, you did the absolute, you're 175 pounds. You went against Buchecha and Cyborg, and those guys couldn't tap you. You were going after them. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is the guy that just almost, look at him in the absolute, the smallest dude in the absolute. He gets the biggest, he gets the two champions. Cyborg won the absolute, and Buchecha won the heavyweight
class. Yeah.
So they fought twice in the finals. One time Buchecha won, one time Cyborg won. So that's crazy in itself. But he went against both of them.
God damn, Cyborg's giant. He's a big dude.
Big guy, man.
Yeah. You were going after him too.
Man, like it has to be like 230 plus at least.
Yeah, when he was doing that Metamoris match with Schaub, I was like, this guy is thick.
Yeah, he's really strong, super technical, really good off his back. And then, boom, after that, like, holy shit.
He's got some ridiculous guard. What does he call it?
Tornado.
Tornado guard?
Yeah.
I've seen him in videos. It's amazing.
Is it tornado guard? Is that what it's called?
Especially with the gi. He's amazing with it.
He's one of the bigger guys that started to be moved like a lighter guy when it comes to jiu-jitsu. It used to just be like two, big fat guys falling all over each other in the heavyweight division.
For a big guy, for a dude over 230, there's nobody that has. I haven't seen. I mean, I'm sure there's guys in Sao Paulo somewhere they're just as good. I don't have my finger on all that. But what I've seen out of the famous guys, Cyborg is a big dude. Nobody move. I don't see anybody moving like him. His half guard's insane. I can't even play his half. I'm like, that's a whole different kind of half guard. I got a couple students that are on the case. I'm like, go study him. We're going to eventually bring that shit in. That's on the table because it's working at a high level. He gets under dudes and with his hamstrings fucking launches them. It's crazy.
We should call him by his name because everybody thinks Cyborg is the chick who fights for Invicta.
Yes.
Is Roberto Abreu.
Yeah, there's a jiu-jitsu.
Abreu.
There's a jiu-jitsu cyborg and then an MMA cyborg.
The jiu-jitsu cyborg is a super yoked guy, and there's a lot of great videos of him doing strength and conditioning work online too. That motherfucker is stupid strong.
And there's another cyborg that does jiu-jitsu and MMA too.
What?
Yes.
This is
smaller
insane.
cyborg. That's the guy that Nick Diaz armbarred. Remember that? Strike Force. That guy's cyborg too.
That's right. Well, that's Cyborg's husband. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, ex-husband. Yeah.
So there's
that's
a bunch
right,
of
course.
And bottom line is Garry went to. And I got to watch that fight again because, I mean, they were so frustrated. These giant superstar legends are already living legends. Both of them. Buchecha's already he's a fucking animal. and he couldn't tap him. It's crazy.
Did you know about Cyborg's guard? Like, did you understand it?
My teacher, Tom the Blaster, my original teacher, he fought him in Abu Dhabi in 2009, 2011, something like that. I guess which one was in Barcelona? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, he fought him.
7.
So I did a little studying on him just because my teacher fought him, and it was a very controversial match. Like they kind of when you look back at it, it looks like they kind of screwed Tom. So that for me, like I definitely was familiar with him. I watched videos of him and stuff like that after that. But I'd say he'd made leaps and bounds from that point. I took his jiu-jitsu a little bit for granted before that fight. He in that Abu Dhabi, he did I felt like it was like the biggest, like a climax of his career for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of his technique, it was on that event for sure.
Dude trains hard.
Yeah, man.
He definitely trains hard. That's interesting. When you see a guy like that and you see like those leaps and bounds, what do you attribute that to? Do you attribute that to like the high level of jiu-jitsu that's available today that everybody has to kind of keep up? Do you attribute it to just like people are? I think overall people are getting better, right? We all admit that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the guys of today are about. There's guys that stand out in my mind. There's always going to be Marcelo Garcia and Hickson in his prime, and there's always going to be these guys that stand out. But the guys of today, it seems like if you wanted to get into jiu-jitsu and watch submission grappling like the EBI tomorrow, it's just no better time. Like people are finishing people now.
Man, and every day I got a bunch of jiu-jitsu nerds in my association. In my home school, they're just, every time I see a cool clip of a new transition that Jeff Glover put on on Instagram or whatever, I'll tell my little jiu-jitsu geniuses, you see that one new half guard sweep? Seen it. Like everyone just seen it, seen it, seen it. I'm trying to come up with new shit.
Dude,
I'm trying to teach shit that I saw in a video, and I'm like, check, I'm gonna teach this tonight. And you're doing it wrong. And I've seen that video 1,000 times. Like, oh shit, you saw that video too?
Nice.
I thought I was the only one. I thought I was gonna be able to steal a move.
Well, that's a beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu that's misunderstood. A lot of people think that it's it has to do with strength and aggression, and you think of it as being like this thing. But so many of the guys that do it, they are like, if they weren't doing this, they would be building computers or something.
Yeah. We talk about that all the time. It's
crazy.
Like, how we could like actually dedicate this time to something that people actually care about, and like we could actually make money or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's definitely more the mindset for most of them. There are those, musclehead type guys.
There's a few of those
in the
for
sport,
sure, but guys like you, the thoughtful, intelligent guys, seem to always rise to the top. They figure out how to always have the best answer to whatever problem's in front of them.
Yeah, that's what we're really looking for. I mean, that's the theory that I try to, pass on to my students and stuff. As opposed to, like, I tell it at seminars all the time. I'm like, guys, if you're ever doing a move and you're just like, this isn't working, the reason's probably not because you're not pushing harder or you need to go faster. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the reason something's not working. It's because your technique's flawed. You're doing something
or his
wrong.
defense is good.
Yeah, either or. Yeah, there's a lot. That's one of those things that. Oh, I always used to laugh when people would. Eddie and I used to talk about it when it comes to complicated techniques, like some of your rubber guard techniques. It takes a long time to get flexible, and you have to do the reps to pull them off. And people would say, "Oh, that doesn't work," and we would always laugh, like, "Okay, do head kicks work? Did you learn how to do a head kick right away?" Like this is a perfect example, right? Like head kicks,
like a wheel kick to the head. How long is that going to take?
To
where you can
somebody?
knock someone out.
You can't say it doesn't work. Watch the Vitor Rockhold fight. Watch a million fights now. There's a lot of them. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, jiu-jitsu is like everything else, right? There's going to be these levels that you see of it that are super high, and then you realize what's possible, and you go, oh. And then along the way, you got a lot of people that are second-guessing. Yeah. A lot of doubters, a lot of people that don't think this is going to work or that's going to work.
There's just so many moves in jiu-jitsu. It's unlike any other sport. It's endless. All the top guys have their own style. There's so much to learn, and the only way to get good at a certain transition or a move is to spend a lot of time with that certain move or that transition. You don't have that much time, so the smart thing to do is, because sometimes you're working on a transition that might not pan out, and you hit a dead end, so you're like, you don't know what moves to spend this precious time with. So you look at the top guys, and what are they doing? They already done the research and development. It works. So now you know what's safe to put reps into. You know, that's a safe one. That's a safe one. And these safe ones are the best ones, right?
Right.
I think the compliment to that though is like, so you look at that, and I've seen people do it. People that used to be on our team, they would look at these guys. What are the top guys doing? Focus on that, but you focus too much on it. Those top guys, like let's take like the Mendez brothers for instance. Yeah. All right, with like Berimbolo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, these guys are doing a move that they've perfected, right?
Yes.
So sure, I could study what they're doing and learn what they're doing, but am I going to be able to make the same, headway that they have with that move? Probably not. So I probably need to pick up a different facet of my game and make headway with that move. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do. That's what I tell people that, what's the best way to get, a step forward in competition, a step ahead of the game. And I think it's being somewhere, being in a position more than other people are in that position and developing that. Not so much what you see other people doing. If you're constantly just trying to do what other people are doing, you're going to get caught up in that game, and they'll always find a way to submit you because they've been doing it longer. You know what I mean? I think that's the opposing strategy to what you were just talking about.
No, exactly. I totally agree with you. I use both strategies.
Yeah.
I always promote and push to keep your go-to moves polished. Do not forget about your go-to moves. Those are your special moves. Anytime a new student comes to me and you see them developing a move, even if it's a move that I suck at, I'm like, that's your move right there. I remind them, I go, that's yours. Get really good at that. That's your secret weapon. Yeah. You got to have secret weapons, but at the same time, I have new students starting every day.
Yes.
So I like to expose them to everything that's working out there and create their own style like that. Even though personally, I teach the Berimbolo. It's part of our warm-up system. I'm not ever going to be a Berimbolo player. I mess with it every now and then when I'm rolling with 12-year-olds and women. I'll Berimbolo the shit out of a white belt girl. I'll do that, and I know eventually, I'm going to get really good at that in like 10 years, and then I'll be able to attack with it. But right now, you stick to your go-to, keep those strong, and take your go-tos to the highest level. But also have a constant introduction of new stuff in your game that'll pay back later, maybe 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, where maybe it's not your game now, but it will be after a while. You're like, I'm killing it.
Yeah, you definitely need to take all those elements from the good guys, from what they do for sure.
And there's really no other martial art like that, right? That has so many different moves.
It's incredible. It's like a 5-dimensional martial art.
It just keeps getting better and better over the years, like Joe was saying before, the progression of jiu-jitsu in general and the level of it is just going up and up. And I think the biggest innovations that are happening now are probably in the leg lock game, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think that's like the next new frontier for
you and
jiu-jitsu.
Eddie Cummings are a big part of that. Since day one of 10th Planet, I've never outlawed heel hooks or reaping. I just never wanted to get heavy on heel hooks because I wanted to train my fighters for MMA. I didn't want them their first habit to go to heel hooks because it's a little dangerous when the highest on guys are telling me, when the leg lock school guys are telling me, Manny, Carl, Karin, oh, bro, MMA, leg locks, last resort. You don't want to give up position. When they're saying that, I'm like, okay. But I never discouraged it, but I had leg lock, like Shigeki, one of my black belts, very good at leg locks. Denny got really good at leg locks. I told Denny, 5 years ago, submerge yourself in leg locks. He's not going to do MMA. I go, so leg locks are very important for you. But then when we saw what you did in EBI 1, you just leg locked the shit out of everybody. And then in the Grappler's Quest Ultimate Absolute, in EBI 1, in the finals, you beat Richie Martinez, one of my guys. You heel hooked him, inside heel hook. And then at the Grappler's Quest Ultimate Absolute, or Ultimate whatever, submission only, I get those mixed up. It was you and Nathan Orchard at the end of that 16-man bracket. Another one of my black belts. And you got him with the inside heel hook again. From that point, Nathan decided, you know what, he started studying everything you were doing. And to me, I never got deep into him. I got a good crippler or a game over, whatever people call it. Both legs reaped. I got that. When I escape the mount, I go to that. I'm good at that heel hook, but generally I'm not good at heel hooks. Never really looked into it. I didn't know the system. I didn't know the system until Nathan studied your personal game and then showed it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it's like the rubber guard. Because people think like rubber guard is just reaching up and grabbing your legs and holding on and throwing up an arm bar. They don't realize there's a system, there's all these positions, there's a path. I didn't realize it was the exact same thing for leg locks.
When I first started training leg locks, I walked in and like Eddie had already done a lot of, made a lot of headway in the leg lock game. And obviously, John had been teaching him. So, when I first came in, my intentions were, I was preparing for ADCC. So my intentions were like, all right, I want to know a little bit about this leg lock game. I'm going to be competing in a tournament where heel hooks are legal, which I don't usually do. I want to be ready for this. Ready for whatever people are going to throw at me. I'm just going to learn how to do it well enough that I can defend it. And then I learned that it's like a whole different martial art. Like just the leg locks, adding the leg locks in. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, one day I asked John because I'm so frustrated. I'm not passing Eddie's guard because he just keeps leg locking me. And I'm like, so, when a guy's good at leg locks, how do you pass the guard? He's like, fucking learn leg locks, dude. So you got to learn how to do what he's doing so that the counters and everything. So I realized I had to spend time on it, as opposed to just like dismissing it as like a small part.
When you see someone dismiss him in MMA, like the highest on guys say, don't do it because it's a last resort. But then you see a guy like Rousimar Palhares.
I was going to say that while you guys were talking.
What do you think of leg locks today? Leg locks in MMA. What do you think?
I just think there's a few guys that are using them well, and I think that there's just not enough people out there that are confident enough in them, have done enough technical research to make them, useful.
What about
if you
Paul
teach
Harris?
one dude a shitty heel hook, yeah, absolutely.
But
Paul
what do you think about his
Paul
game
Harris
when you see
specifically?
it?
So it's terrifying. The guy knows that he has a confidence in his heel hook. He knows he can break a limb with it, and he finds in every different situation. A lot of our transitions we get from, Paul Harris got a leg there, he got a leg here. He learns how to get there from many different positions, and that's what I was talking about before, and kind of what Eddie was talking about with finding that thing that's like yours. He's there all the time, so if he can get you there, boom, you're done.
You don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
You're thinking he's already moving on instinct.
This is what I'm thinking about leg locks. Is I hear this stuff from Highest on 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I hear one of my first MMA fighter he was rubber guard twister. He was I created this guy, but he also had a leg lock game.
Okay.
And he did MMA, and every time he tried to go for leg locks, he got knocked out.
Yeah.
So there was a point where he had to. It was too dangerous.
Yeah.
After like 12 fights.
for sure.
But then you have Rousimar Palhares coming out of nowhere, and people I think are giving him more like, well, he's making the leg locks work because he's so strong and he's so scary, and so because the people do feel like we need to see it a few more times from different people. Hey, I hope leg lock works. The more submissions on the ground, the better. I love the way Rousimar Palhares is pulling guard into leg locks. He's not even trying to take dudes down.
Well, you know what I love when Alan Belcher figured it out.
Yes.
Alan Belcher figured it out. I mean, he willingly went into his half guard. He willingly went to the ground with him.
That's the biggest mistake people make with Paul
And
Harris.
he defended every single step of the way and then beat him down and stopped him.
I think at the high level, that's what it looks like. I think if the guy is kind of shaky about leg locks and he's not he doesn't have leg lock defense in his DNA, he's going to get caught. But Allen spent 2 months solid with Dean Lister, flew him in, Davi Ramos, who's a mini Palhares leg lock. And he said the first 2 weeks, he just got leg locked all day. And after a while, you learn how to slow it down.
Good for
and then
him,
you get
man.
tapped, and you slow it down, and then you get tapped, and you slow it down, and then you start attacking. And that's what he said. So I think with the leg lock game, if everybody got really good at the defense, that yes, you can get in these leg lock positions and avoid getting hit, because I think the saddle and the honey hole, I think it's pretty safe, right? Where you ain't going to get hit there. They can't reach you.
Yeah.
But if the guy defends it and is comfortable defending it and then can sit up in a certain spot and sprawl out on you, then it could be trouble. I'm rooting for leg locks in MMA. Trust me. I'm just not 100%. I need it. Once the punches come in, once they start flying, I hear Ryan Hall is making leg lock works and MMA training. So maybe leg locks will be the future of, or part of the future of grappling in MMA.
Well, we always have this conception about this idea of it because of Frank Mir versus Ian Freeman. I mean, that's like cemented in people's heads. Remember?
Yep.
Frank Mir's going for the heel hook, look like he's got it locked up, and Ian Freeman's teeing off on his face while he's holding onto his leg.
That was
then
huge.
Frank gets up, he stumbled. I mean, he got fucked up, and that was when Frank was a monster. I mean, Frank was real young, wild, and aggressive.
Romina Sato and Joaquin Hansen. Romina Santos, very good at leg locks, had a toe hold. Joaquin Hansen caught him once and hit him 2 or 3 times, and he was just out starched.
Who's
Scary.
got better leg lock technique, Imanari or Palhares? Because Imanari has wrecked some dudes' knees too.
I think Imanari is probably more technical. What do you think?
Man,
No? No.
I
Eddie
think-
Cummings says no.
Yeah, I think that you're seeing kind of. First of all, you're seeing 2 people do leg locks. 2 people that don't have any clue what they're doing when it comes to the leg lock game, right? So it's in the MMA world. Not to discredit anybody that uses them effectively in MMA. Palhares has used them effectively in both. But when you're watching people use leg locks in fights, you can't just be like, oh my God, that dude's leg locks are amazing, because they're going against, like in terms of grappling, they're going against somebody that doesn't have any clue what they're doing. You know, most of the time, anyway. But in terms of who's better, I mean, it's clear that the headway that Palhares has made with an outside heel hook is just way above anyone else. Imanari has some other. I'd say Imanari's better at some of these technical transitions that he does, some very unique, counters and unique, attacks.
The spinning entries that you're good at too as well.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely study him and try and use some of that stuff. So I think he's just a little bit more creative, a little bit more unique, but I don't think I think Palhares has a better system. Okay, Palhares has a better system for breaking a limb, as opposed to Imanari. Uses a lot of creative transitions and can eventually submit somebody, but
That's interesting.
You ever think about getting a private with Palhares?
No, because I favor my knees and I don't want to get my legs.
You think he would just?
Oh, he'd definitely just break my legs for sure.
Really?
I mean, he'd try anyway.
Really?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Dude, the guy's a crazy person. They brought in a sports psychologist to try and hey, why are you breaking your training partner's legs and everybody's legs in competition and not letting go? And the sports psychologist after a week was like, fuck this. I don't know what the.
They brought him in because he was breaking his training partner's legs?
He's been kicked out of camps and stuff, dude. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
God damn. Eddie Cummings,
insane.
you're nodding as well?
Yeah.
Just want to get confirmation
It's
across the board.
Yeah.
Well,
So
he had a tough childhood, man. You hear about his childhood? That big scar across his chest? They tried to crazy glue that shit shut when he was like a kid.
wow.
Yeah, he grew up on a farm. He ate pig slop when he was like 13. It's a really heartbreaking story.
Not surprised at
He's
all.
been working since he was
Jeez.
like a little kid. It's one of the reasons
Wow.
why he's so fucking strong.
Yeah.
Maybe
kid-
pig slop has something to do with it.
He's got to start
Wow.
eating pig slop.
I'm sure he added some other things to his diet once he got some of that
Can you
mud.
imagine? Wake up in the morning, 8
grass-fed
ounces of
butter.
pig slop.
Pig slop.
Oh, God, it's just super dense in protein. Tastes like shit, but it's good for your. Plus, it's like an instant fecal transplant as well because you're eating a little bit of pig shit in there.
Perfect.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Did you see his fight with Fitch?
No, I haven't. I've been watching a lot of highlights. Just don't
Well,
really see the
Alan
whole fight
Belcher-
specifically.
Actually explained it. Alan Belcher actually went over like what he did wrong. Like it's pretty interesting, man. He had a video outlining the
Oh, I gotta see
technique,
that.
how to defend, and how Palhares went to straight leg lock. Like what he did and what he should, the way he should have done it, and the way he did do it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Alan Belcher is a wizard when it comes to that stuff.
I
It's
love the
cool.
way Palhares got the fight to the ground. He's fighting John Fitch,
Yep.
a NCAA Division I wrestler. How did he
Yeah.
take him down? He didn't even try. He just
Yeah.
shot for a weak single and just sat down and went for a leg lock.
Yeah. Once he gets a hold of you, it's like you have a whole new level of oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like everybody has in their head like a level of oh fuck. Like okay, I'm okay here. I'll defend here. But I think he's so goddamn strong, and on top of that, his technique's so sharp that once he grabs a hold, you see this look on dudes' faces. They're like, oh shit, I'm not getting out of this.
Guys are letting him get where he wants to be, though. You
Yeah.
know, like most of them anyway. The better strategy is to put him where you want him, as opposed to, oh yeah, I'm just going to keep this on the feet. No, you're not. You're not going to keep this on the feet. He's going to find a way to get to the leg lock.
He's gonna pull guard.
Put him down. Put him down.
Shows you what a demon Hector Lombard is. Because Hector Lombard was like, bitch, you're not getting a hold of my legs.
What
Like,
happened
he
in
never
that
even-
fight?
He beat the shit out of him.
How did the fight go?
Stoppage.
How?
Lombard stopped him.
He just couldn't take him down?
couldn't take him down, couldn't get him in a leg lock, couldn't do anything with him.
He never got him to the ground. Did he try to pull guard?
Hector Lombard is stupid strong, dude. Stupid strong. He's the only guy I've ever seen lock up with Tim Bosch and just face plant him just by pulling. Like Tim Bosch was trying to shoot and take him down, and he sprawled and just slammed him into the ground. Like he's so goddamn strong. And on top of that, he's got ridiculous technique. His judo is off the charts. And then, he's got submissions too, man. There's a video of him in a submission grappling match where he snaps a dude's leg and you can hear it. You can hear the snap.
Nothing grip.
Have you seen that video?
Which one?
Lombard, Hector Lombard gets a dude in a leg lock and snaps his leg.
I think I've seen it. It sounds
I
familiar.
think he got him in like a straight ankle lock, and you hear crack.
Remember John Lober got his foot broken off with a toe hold in Japan? The whole foot just broke off, and he's just looking at it. That foot's hanging, and the ref just stops it, and he's like looking at it, going, "Oh shit!" Remember that? It was in Pancrase.
yeah.
Toe hold, but the whole it was like Anderson Silva's leg.
Nice.
God
Toe hold.
damn. Jesus Christ. When you really stop and think about the progression over the years and all the crazy fights, and you put like you got to wake your brain up to that fight.
Have you guys looked into the CSW leg lock system with Eric Paulson? You guys look at him at all?
Trained at a school once, but in terms of like looking at their system of leg locks, I'm not as attuned to it. Eddie does a lot more research than me. As you called people BJJ nerds.
Yeah.
That's Eddie for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
You're just like Eddie. What's next? What is the new shit?
Yeah,
you don't want to go on.
I do a little
YouTube.
bit of research, but it's not. I don't do extensive stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just training all the time, and I luckily I live in an age where I have all these people around me that study and know the martial art. Like I always think about that. Like think back to what was it like when nobody knew what the fuck they were doing, and you just had to make everything up. You know what I mean? You had nothing to go off of. You know what I mean? Now we're in this era where it's like, I could go to John with pretty much anything. I'm going to get a 95% accurate answer to whatever question it is that I have because he's seen it, 100 times before on tape. You know what I mean? We don't have to innovate as much.
Are you planning on fighting in MMA?
Yeah, 1 or 2 years. I don't know
How
how
old
to
are you
punch
now?
people in the face yet. So
How old are you now?
I am 23.
And so you're just concentrating on striking before you do it?
Yeah, I just want to learn. I want to know what I'm doing before I jump.
You wrestled your whole life, right?
I wrestled from 5th to 9th grade, and I started doing jiu-jitsu. So it gave me a little bit of a grappling base, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I knew how to do a single and a double leg, like a couple things in the ground. Nothing serious. Nothing that I really remember. Now I do wrestling privates with a D1 guy, Matt Pletcher, on a bi-weekly. I do two a week.
And what kind of striking training are you doing?
Striking training. I started working with Frank Savannah, boxing coach. I'm just doing it like once a week right now.
Are you in
I just don't have
Manhattan?
time to. I am in Manhattan, but I haven't checked anybody out in the area. I've just been doing stuff in Jersey, bringing people to me because I run a school, so it's hard for me to.
Right, because Henzo is Henzo's connected with the Watt, right? Like who? Like Phil Nurse? Aren't you guys all affiliated?
Somewhat connected. You have some guys teaching, but I haven't gotten in touch with those guys. It's just I'm just at real basic level right now, so I just want to get to a point where I can, start going to some professionals. But it's almost like with jiu-jitsu, like without knowing anything, like what use is it to go to the best guy in the world? You know what I mean?
Well, you know what, dude? With a guy as good as you are, I think the most important thing is you go to like whoever you go to. If you decide to embark on your MMA career, go to someone that's got a full knowledge, like a Faraz Zahabi type dude.
Yeah.
Like someone's got a full knowledge of MMA.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
guys are so gigantic. I don't think they get the credit that they deserve.
Yeah, man.
The Duke Rufuses of the world, and those guys that just look at the whole package of what you do as a fighter and piece together the right strategy for you.
Yeah, we have good connections with
Faraz?
with Faraz and,
Yeah.
and all that camp. Their guys come to us for jiu-jitsu, and our guys go down to them for MMA. So I'm definitely hoping once I get some striking and shoot boxing to a certain level, I'd love to go down there. Like I said, it's just so I feel like almost they wouldn't know what to do with me at this point just because I'm just so base level right now.
Right.
It'd be useless to go down. I don't want to waste their time.
So are you just training boxing or training Muay Thai?
Just boxing right now. My boxing coach told me that he thinks I should spend about 6 months purely on boxing before I jump into Muay Thai. You could probably do it either way, but
No, it's a good idea,
I think
man.
They kind of contrast the two things that they're trying to teach you. So focus on one thing first, and then I'll jump into that for sure.
Yeah, get those mechanics down, and then the transition is very important though. And some people don't make it.
Yeah.
If you don't make it, and the guy has leg kicks are just they come into play. Elbows and knees come into play. There's too many things that come into play. Guys make the mistake of focusing primarily on boxing just because it feels good to punch somebody in the face. And get pretty good at it. It's not an awkward movement for your body.
Yeah.
It seems pretty. Self-explanatory. Everybody understands it.
Yeah.
But then kicking is this whole thing where you're moving your body in a way that seems awkward, and you have to think about where your balance and foot placement goes. So some guys, they just become that boxer, wrestler, jiu-jitsu type guy, but can't do that anymore, man. It's just there's Vitor Belfort's wheel kicking you in the head. You know what I mean? It's like now it's on such a weird level that guys can do things. Guys that are like super high level in everything. they'll always have that advantage over you in this one thing. Like as you're planning out your future, super important to look at all the spots. Some guys never do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no one ever expects Chael Sonnen to throw a head kick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a good example of it. No one ever expected him to, you know, it's just never put that as a threat. It was never in.
Yeah.
But like a guy like a GSP or, you know, fill in the blank, they can kind of do anything. Vitor, perfect example. He can do anything.
Yeah. Definitely makes you more dangerous for sure.
If jiu-jitsu, like professional jiu-jitsu was a big thing, it was on television, it was a major league sport.
That's what we're trying to go for right now.
But would you go into MMA or would you stay with jiu-jitsu?
That's an interesting question. I haven't really considered it yet because we just haven't gotten it to that level. I think I would still try at some point to transition into MMA. Maybe I would hold it off for a little bit longer. Like if I really saw that the sport was taking off and I felt like, you know, that's where I could make my headway and that's where I could make my mark, I'd definitely spend a lot more time there. I still think I would like to make a transition in MMA purely for a few reasons. One, just to test myself at a new thing. Two, to make sure that I have the knowledge for when somebody comes up to me and goes, "Oh yeah, I want to make a transition into MMA from jiu-jitsu. What's your advice?" Well, I can't really give them advice if I've never done it before. I don't feel like, you know.
Right.
So I want to really know what I'm talking about if I'm talking to these young guys that want to come up and, you know, do something with MMA instead of just jiu-jitsu. So I definitely, from a teaching perspective, I need to get into MMA and experience that and know what it's like. That's how I feel anyway, regardless of whether or not jiu-jitsu takes off and it's on TV and all that stuff.
Are you planning on ever doing any amateur boxing matches or anything along those lines?
I got to talk to, you know, some of my coaches and stuff and see what they think is best in terms of, you know, my development and things like that. I would imagine that probably, would be good for sure. I want to avoid as much as possible going the route of just getting knocked out all the time in training and stuff like that, and just having that just gritty type of training where it's just getting you tough, you know, in quotation marks, and then I'll get to a point where I'm in a fight and I'm just getting touched on the chin and knocked out like a swimmer.
Right.
I want to make sure I'm focusing mostly on technical details and then, you know, putting it all together.
So smart, and so happy to hear you say that.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important things. You know, Jamie Varner just did this interview recently. Jamie Varner was a former WEC lightweight champion, really tough guy. Did this interview recently. We said, I shortened my career because I sparred too hard, I sparred too often, and I sparred bigger guys.
Yeah.
You know, he started talking about how he was sparring Ryan Bader and all these dudes who were way bigger than him, and that over those years of doing all that sparring with these larger guys and sparring really hard 3 days a week, he's like, don't try to prove you're tough. You're tough. You're in the UFC. You're already tough. Like, don't just try to do it right. And he said sometimes you don't even have to do it once a week, once every other week maybe even.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking in terms of like when I get to the sparring and stuff like that for sure. I used to spar back in the day, probably 3-4 years ago when some of my teammates had started doing some MMA. I just did it like for fun, for some experience and things like that. But it was stupid and dangerous for me to be doing that without really knowing what I was doing in terms of striking, I think. You know, and because all I was really doing was, you know, hitting until I could get to a takedown anyway, but I mean, just taking unnecessary damage for no reason from people that wanted to take my head off, you know?
It's not smart, and people think it's cute. They think it's fun. Like, oh, this guy doesn't even know how to box. Watch me touch him up, you know, and they get in there and throw hard hooks in your fucking head. You don't even see them coming. And those shots that you take in those sparring sessions, they can really fuck you up.
Yeah, no,
for a long time.
I'm glad that it never really, you know, I didn't have to, you know, pay the price for that at all.
If you could find guys that spar technically really fast and have good control, man, you can progress so far.
Yeah.
Because it takes away all the fear of getting hit. If you just find, like, it's just hard to find. The Thais apparently have it down. I was talking to John Wayne Parr when he was on the podcast, and he said they spar like they play.
Yeah.
Like when they're kicking each other, they're like slapping each other, and because they're fighting every week, so they don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So when they're sparring, they're like playing with each other. No one's trying to hurt anybody.
Yeah. It should always be like that. And that's like the biggest problem for people starting out and training jiu-jitsu too. You get that guy that's just like squeezes everything, and like you need to be able to relax, get submitted and move around. Like you have to be comfortable with all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's like a hard thing for me to like teach, you know, new people coming in. That's like the hardest transition. Get them to a point where they're comfortable enough to relax and then just let their mind open up to like what they should be doing, you know?
Yeah, it seems like it's just time is the only thing that fixes that. Just time and everything. And striking too.
But you see guys that train for a long time and maintain that mentality and still are just like to just rough and tough guys that are just trying as hard as they can every single roll, and they're not making a lot of progress. I see plenty of people like that. So time, but with good direction from like coaches and teammates and things like that. Because there's still plenty of guys that you could be training for 10 years and you're just still trained like a jerk off,
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of those guys that never really develop much offense either. They have like a couple of good moves that they like cling to. That's a weird thing, isn't it? Some people just figure out how to get, like, how many years were you doing jiu-jitsu where you started hitting like a real high level?
I mean, I think, I mean, it was a progression. I was focused on like points jiu-jitsu for a long time. I was still trying to submit people, but my strategy was I'm going to get to the back because there's a high score for points there, and I could do a rear naked choke. It's a highly effective submission, and it's low risk. So that was my strategy for everything. So the first 5 years of my training was all dedicated to that. From every position, let's get to this guy's back, choke him from behind, keep this simple. I'm going to have more points, and I'm going to be able to submit the guy. Past that, these last 3 years, I think I've made the biggest developments in terms of like broadening my submission base and learning how to submit people from different places and things like that. But I think it was kind of good for my progression, because I got positionally sound in a bunch of different, and had like a strategy and things like that. But it took till I was a black belt to really make advances in jiu-jitsu. I feel like
now what is
high level. Anyway.
What do you? How do you feel about submission only versus the points game?
I mean, I think it takes a couple different things. You could see people that are possibly successful in both or successful in one or the other. But I think what it comes down to is kind of the mentality of the person that's training or competing in either one of those things. It's like, you take somebody, whether they're a points fighter, if they're a points fighter competing in a submission-only tournament, you're going to pretty much see them take the same strategy in the submission-only tournament. It takes guys that are constantly hunting for submissions in training. And that's when you're going to see the best matches. Guys that are constantly hunting after submissions all the time. It's not just like a situational thing. There's just this overarching thing that some of the bigger jiu-jitsu guys say. I think I saw it like an article from Kyotera, and I love Kyotera. He's a great guy, but he posted this thing that said like, I hate when people talk about submission fighters and points fighters and the difference between the two. And I think it's like, the points fighters it's all the same, and these guys talk about, I'm going to use my jiu-jitsu, and if a submission opens up, I'll finish the guy if the submission opens up. No, you make the fucking submission open up. It's not like, I'm waiting for this guy to like accidentally stick his arm out there. No, I make him, I take his arm away from him. That's the point. Those are two different mentalities. You know what I mean? I'm going to wait for this guy to make a mistake, and I'm going to make this guy in danger.
That's a newer mentality, right? Because the original mentality was that, like, one of the reasons why Hoist would favor a longer match is he wanted to cook his opponent. He wanted to slow him down, wanted to make him make mistakes. He didn't have the physicality to impose himself on people.
Yeah.
So he waited till they got tired, and then they would give something up.
And it can work, sure. And I don't think it's like not a winning strategy. You can clearly you see guys grind people out and submit them. But I think that not just using strength, you can find ways to open up submissions on people. There's definitely a deeper level of technique there.
Yeah, that's how the difference between the way Josh Barnett describes it, describes submissions, and the way like some more technical jiu-jitsu based guys would describe submissions.
Yeah,
like Barnett always calls like catch wrestling like a violent art. That like your attack, it's not the gentle art. Like jiu-jitsu is the gentle art, catch wrestling the violent art.
Yeah.
So a lot of the young guys like yourself, the super aggressive guys, there's like a change in philosophy then. It's more adhering to that philosophy, like the aggressive go after it philosophy.
Yeah, and I think when we're talking about taking grappling to a point where it's a spectator sport, which is like what Eddie's trying to do in many of these other organizations, that's what needs to happen.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Whether it's going to help you win fights or not, like you take a look at the UFC, and Dana White's always telling people like you have to have exciting fights, and it's true because you won't have as many fans if you don't. He'll eventually kick you out of the UFC if you don't. You know what I mean? But that's what makes it a spectator. That's why people get paid to do it, because people are excited to watch it. And whether you win or lose, it can't be the only thing in your head at that point. When we're talking about bringing people in, if you're making money, you're putting on a performance. So it has to be about the attacks. It has to be about what's exciting about jiu-jitsu, the submission. You know what I mean? So people constantly getting attacked, that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
And that's going to make this like a big thing that people are interested in.
Are you still interested in competing in the gi, or you're just doing?
I'll still compete in the gi. I just don't focus on it because nobody pays anybody to compete in the gi, number one.
Metamoris does.
Yeah, and most of the matches don't end in submission, and they're considered boring matches. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them.
Do you think Metamoris should go all no gi?
Yeah, I do. I don't necessarily think that you can't have exciting matches in the gi. I just think you have to find the right people. You have to find two people that are willing to put it all on the line and just try to submit each other and not give a shit whether or not they get submitted.
It's hard, even when you find two people like that. When they both have a grip of the collar and the sleeve, they're just stuck there. They're really good at just holding each other. Woo!
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it just makes it more exciting.
Would you do a Metamoris match in the gi?
I'd consider it, but it would take a bigger camp. You know, I definitely. I'm definitely just focused on no-gi right now. For everything in my future, it's just like, you know, if I'm going to do MMA, it only makes sense. Every match, every super fight that I'm being asked to do is without the gi. It just literally at this point makes no sense for me to spend a lot of time on it. Now, once again, like I said before, from an instructional standpoint, students that might be interested in training in the gi, at some point, once I break away from, you know, my athletic career, I'll definitely study the gi. I'll definitely study judo. I'll definitely study all the things that those little intricacies that people use in jiu-jitsu, the lapel guards and things like that, so that I can better help my students, but not so much for me as a professional athlete. I think at this point, we're hitting a point in jiu-jitsu where you have to make a decision. What am I going to specialize in? And I think I'm going to specialize in no-gi submission grappling.
Have you ever rolled with Marcelo?
I've never rolled with Marcelo. Recently, he's been injured. I think he's coming back now pretty strong from what I
happened
hear.
to him?
He got his knee hurt doing something. I'm not 100% sure what. I think
Maybe
straining.
snowboarding?
Yeah, exactly.
He loves
right?
snowboarding.
Yeah,
Does he?
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He loves it. That's his favorite thing.
Really?
Yep. It's awesome, dude. Eventually you'll do it. It's,
I've been skiing.
It's
Dude.
it's different when you're going sideways.
Why is it different?
It's
First of all,
Is it better?
it's better.
Really?
Once you go snowboarding, you don't go back
for
to
years-
skiing. You don't go back to
for
skiing.
years I was snowboarding. Like when I was a kid.
You went back to skiing?
I was like skiing for losers. I'm gonna snowboard. Snowboarding's so much cooler. So I do it for like 4 or 5 years, just like, you know, once a year, twice a year. You know, family would go on trips or whatever. And then one year, my friend's like, dude, you gotta, you know, just try out skiing. You know, see how you like it. Now at snowboarding, I was at a level. This is my strategy snowboarding. As fast as I possibly fucking could in a straight line, go down the hill, and then fall to stop myself. All right, so I'm like getting almost knocked out, you know, falling into the snow.
How fast are you going?
I have no idea. I don't know what.
60.
Yeah, who knows? And I'm only going like, you know, bunny slopes or like, you know, whatever the blue square, like in advanced, intermediate, whatever. I could never do. I was fearful of a black diamond is straight down. So I put on skis. I put on skis. The first time I try it, black diamond, no problem. You know what I mean? It's like I mean, clearly you're not doing it technically, but like it's safe. You know what I mean? I felt like comfortable. I could slow myself down. Snowboarding, I just feel like you're looking in one direction. It's just tunnel vision. You're going as fast as you can. It's so much more uncontrolled. It's difficult.
So what you're saying is snowboarding is more exciting.
There for a thrill-seeking point of view, hell yeah. It feels more dangerous to me. You're locked into this board. You don't have your two legs to be able to separate and balance yourself.
How often do snowboarders collide with each other? If you're going that fast?
No.
When I'm on the slopes, it's a much higher percentage than anybody else. But
You just got to learn how to turn. You just got to learn to turn and
Yeah.
because really snowboarding and skiing is just the art of slowing down,
Yeah.
braking, braking, slowing down.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you don't slow down, boom, you go down like a
Sonny
rocket.
Bono.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's it.
Oh, back to Marcelo. Would he be someone that I think personally, as a jiu-jitsu fan, you against Marcelo would be the most interesting. Like if that was Metamoris,
yeah.
Jesus,
I would never-
or Super Fight EBI.
Yeah, I would never like call him out or anything. You just don't have any right to. But no, it'd be an amazing match. I would love that matchup.
Rematch with Crone.
Absolutely, I ask for it all the time. But again, I can't really call Crone out. He beat me, so I called him out in a sense like, hey, I want to fight you. But I would never like talk shit about Crone to try and get him to fight me because it's just that's not fair. Like, the dude beat me. So.
What made that match was the finish. That made that match, and it made the match for both of you. It's like it made the match so much more exciting than if you guys just went to a draw. If you went to a stalemate at the end, and maybe you were both clinched up with each other and it ended. that would have not been as good. That was a perfect example of what's possible at high-level jiu-jitsu,
Sure,
where it's so
absolutely, man.
exciting.
The fact that he did submit you blew you up.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
you were
It made that
you put
match-
him in some terrible positions, man. I mean, you had him in some bad spots where we were like, holy shit. And, you know, Eddie and I went off about it when we watched the video. We played
Well,
it.
I was there live.
Yeah.
I went nuts live.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, we were all
That's
going,
right.
oh, is he going to beat Crone? Oh. And then 1 minute left or
Yeah.
whatever it was when
Yeah.
Crone, they broke you guys up. He looked at Hickson.
There's a
Like,
video of
holy
you
shit.
explaining Gary, and then we play the video of the fight on the internet. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's cool that like something like that exists, and I just think that we need to have more of those out there, and then eventually Hollywood people are going to go, hey, whoa, what is this? Is wild shit. Like, hold on, nobody has this locked down. This isn't on television.
Yeah.
But the UFC has established a very firm, like huge property in the UFC. Like that's what everybody connects with MMA. MMA equals UFC, and if you're fighting for Bellator, they go, oh wow, you think you're going to be fighting for the UFC someday? Like it's just what it is.
Yeah.
There's none of that with grappling. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
But how many times have you heard a guy
They're
like
trying
in,
to.
in 2000, 2001, 2002, guys that were already deeply into the UFC? It was we saw it in '93. It's 2000, 2001. Even to this day, you run into guys that aren't into it, and they go, "Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. Just a couple dudes rolling around." It was like uneventful for them. For them, it was uneventful.
Right.
But when we saw it, what did we see? What was the difference? The difference was the fucking tournament. The first one I saw was UFC 2, and that was a 16-man tournament. Because it ends up being, when you see one match at a time, it's like a documentary. You see maybe that first round you don't no one looks familiar, but that second round you're like, oh shit, that dude with the long hair against that ninja dude, and then the semifinals you're like, holy shit, how's that gonna work out? You just saw their career that night, and then the finals, Hoyce and Patrick Smith, you're like, holy! I went from hating Hoyce in the opening round because he beat my karate guys to rooting for him and just being his follower right there at that final, because like Pat Smith was kind of a, he was like a heel even within that, so it was a movie. That's why we got it. When the people that watched it back then got obsessed with it instantly. It was the greatest thing ever. If they would have been single matches and you didn't know those dudes, we wouldn't have that drama unfold. There'd just be a bunch of single matches. So you can't.
It's like a movie, right?
Exactly.
Kumite.
And you can't do that with MMA, but you can totally do that with jiu-jitsu, and that's why Abu Dhabi is so special, because it's a bunch of 16-man brackets. Superman. But the only thing that I think Abu Dhabi should have a 16-man bracket, have it like 4 days, like a whole week, where every day is a different one. Because the way they do it now, it's like it's like watching 3 movies at the same time. You're not watching it unfold. And then on the internet, you just watch a link of the finals, and then you go back and watch a semifinal. It's like watching a movie in pieces, and you already know the ending. But what Metamoris does is have a single fight. Every fight is main stage. There isn't 3 matches or 12 matches like the Mundials. It's 1 match at a time showcased, but it's not tournament style. So what I'm trying to do is I took the best from Abu Dhabi and the best from Metamoris and try to combine it. Metamoris, submission only, 1 match at a time, and Abu Dhabi, the super 16-man brackets that are in themselves. If you watch it one by one at a time, center stage, it's mind-blowing when you watch it like that. We need to watch it like that, in my opinion. That's what made EBI 1 and EBI 2, which, I mean, Gary went and submitted everybody in the 16-man bracket. Every dude he ran through, and in the final, by the time we got to the final with him and Richie blew through everybody on his end of the bracket. So it was Richie and Gary. Everyone was going nuts because they saw it unfold one at a time. That's the secret, right?
That's
there.
a very good point. They're trying to do that with Glory, and I've been advising people against it. I think it's a terrible idea for kickboxing.
And MMA, too much damage.
Too much damage.
And then people are going to get hurt and cut. It's not going to work.
They're going to get KO'd. That's the problem. You get KO'd. Sometimes you get KO'd and you still fight and win. You get knocked out and you're still fighting on autopilot, and then it's over. Like, what happened? You won. You won a decision. Like, what? Like, I've seen that happen with guys.
Dude, it's not safe.
And Glory, they fought 3 times. They had the last man standing tournament in L.A. We went to that, right? You came to that. That shit, they fought 3 fucking times, man.
Yeah,
Kickboxing.
crazy.
In the first fight, Joe Schilling had to fight 4 rounds because after the third round was a draw.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
That's how powerful tournaments are. When you watch it, it's so powerful that you might not be able to do it in kickboxing. There's all this shit could go wrong. It's risky, but the tournament is so exciting that if we could pull this off and no one gets hurt and we get lucky, it's a grand show that people are going to watch over. And when you watch it from the beginning to end, you feel it. It's a documentary.
That's a very good point, dude. That's a very good point. And I think if someone got a hold of that, someone who produces sports television and realized that this is like an unsung property. Like this is out there. The sport is at a very high level right now. Guys are very, very exciting, and no one has capitalized on it. No one's put it on television, and no one's making money with it.
They just don't know. They just don't know how to do it. First of all, you got to get rid of the points. You know, I put together EBI like if some old Jewish guy who owns some network said, "I don't know about this martial arts stuff, but I like you, kid. I'm going to give you 1 season. I don't know about no jujitsu or anything. I'm going to give you 1 season. As soon as the ratings drop, it's out. We got a deal." Then you would go, "Oh shit, okay, we got to get rid of the fucking gi. We got to get rid of points, and we got to have a tournament." We got to see it unfold because that's what makes the Ultimate Fighter so awesome. It's a tournament, although it doesn't happen in one day, but it's still a tournament. You see the brackets unfolding, just like the March Madness. I hate basketball, but I understand why there's tournaments. You see it all unfolding. You see the drama, you know, and that is what's missing from grappling. That's why, in my opinion, that's why you can't get it on TV, because in all the other formats, it's just too much stalling, too much holding.
We need Renato Laranja right now to dispute your claims, because right now you're talking crazy, disrespectful. Sport of jiu-jitsu, the gi is everything, my friend. Without the gi, there is no life.
Let go, let gi. That's one of his quotes.
There's nothing funnier than Brazilian misinterpretations of English. I sent Eddie a picture of a T-shirt that I found in my closet way back in the day of Waleed Ismail, Valiji T-shirt.
Yeah,
what the fuck did it say on it?
It said on the back there's a cartoon picture of him. You know, he's all mean. He's actually the nicest, sweetest guy ever.
Best guy ever.
All those mean looks, it's all him doing pro wrestling. He's actually super sweet, super nice. He'll take a picture and then he'll be like a little kid going, let me see, and he'll look at his picture and he's like, ah. We got some classic ones from back in like 2004 or 2003.
Love that dude.
And he has this shirt where it's him standing there like in a cartoon character, and it says on the top, "Don't be coward." Don't run off the fight.
Yes.
Don't be coward. Don't run off the fight.
Nice.
At the bottom. Can you imagine? And can you imagine what when he turned in, like when he went to the T-shirt shop place, and there's an American guy. He's all, "Do you want to proof this?" And he goes, "No, you put it. This is bullshit. Put it now. You do a shirt now." He goes, "Can you? Okay, we're gonna need some initials on this right here.
Nice.
Initial right there and right there." This guy's crazy. Let's just print the damn shirt.
I'm trying to find.
The dude's printing it. We're like, "Boss, boss, come here. I just want to make sure it says don't run off the fight. We're cool with that. Don't be coward.
Don't be coward.
Alrighty." And he's just like,
I just want your approval here, an initial here, and
Too bad he didn't tattoo it on himself.
I'm gonna get this on
been way
video.
better.
Now, you, Mr. Ishmael, you realize what you have written here, and this is exactly how you would like it printed.
it goes to court. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To do a selfie video with it. I'm trying to find the picture. I know.
While
I
he
have
tries
it on
to
my phone.
sue him and claims that they fucked up.
Yeah, this is not the true jiu-jitsu.
I never say run off the fight.
Run off the fight.
Who said stupid
That
thing like
doesn't
that?
even make sense. Yeah, he was. That was a crazy match when him and Hoist. Remember that shit on the beach in Rio? They fought like with mats that were laid out in the sand.
Yes.
And everybody got sand in their eyes and their face. There's fucking sand everywhere. They slapped some mats down on the beach.
Hoist had big balls to take that
Fuck
match
yeah, he
because
did.
Waleed was fucking everyone up back then.
And Waleed, he got him in a clock choke.
Yeah.
Put him to sleep. That's a weird thing to watch too.
I can't believe they let him take that fight because the general consensus in like after the UFC around like how good is Hoist's jiu-jitsu for real? And he was never like, you know, a world champion or a national champion or anything like that. Everybody knew that. Everyone knew he had decent jiu-jitsu, but he wasn't lighting the world on fire. Yeah. So for him to take that Waleed match, man, that showed he had gigantic balls because Waleed was a destroyer.
Yeah, that's a hugely ballsy move. And, you know, he got choked to sleep, which I think was very important for jiu-jitsu, just to show, like, everyone looked at Royce Gracie, rightly so, as this massive innovator, this pioneer of jiu-jitsu and MMA,
at the height,
a hero.
This was after the UFC gets choked out, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's
That's
a
right.
hero of jiu-jitsu, and then you go, okay, well, listen, there's guys out there that are another level.
Yeah.
They're another level above him.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
Well, that's what he said about Hickson. He said, well, I'm not actually that good. Hickson's 10 times better than me. And then the Japanese went, oh, okay, you sure? Okay, do you have his
Here
number?
it is. I found it. It's not a cartoon. I thought it was a cartoon,
we want that
too.
guy.
I found it. It's actually a picture of him. I thought it was a
Nice.
cartoon. But we had more than one, Eddie. There was more than one.
No. This is the front. It's the back. You need the back of that.
Oh, the back of it has a cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can
No
find
mercy, no rules, no pain. Fuck.
it. Oh, this is a different one then, man. This is the
I feel
one
like
that
those three
I
things
found.
don't go together.
Yeah, I have the same shirt. It's on the
Yeah.
back. 100%. I have it,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's in cartoon form too in the back, like, all yoked and shit.
There was definitely more than one of those ridiculous shirts, though. But that's why Hanato's shtick is so funny, because you think that he's actually being conservative. Hanato's kind of conservative with his language.
He's not a stick, man. He's a real motherfucker, man.
Shtick.
Stick.
SH.
Like corn stick.
No. Shtick. It's like his act. You know,
It's
the way
not
he
an
talks.
act. He's actually that cocky in real life. People think that
Amazing.
it's an act.
Yeah,
That he's like
yeah.
this super confident guy. No, he really is like that.
Would you be willing to match him with the gi? Because the gi is his strong suit.
I wouldn't. I never say anything bad about him, man. He's always been nice to me. Fuck it. You know what I mean? No comment.
You scared?
The video of him and Nate Diaz.
comment.
When Nate Diaz was taking it serious. Have you ever seen the
Oh,
video of him
shit,
and Nate
dude.
Diaz?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
It's
You're
great.
Like, what the fuck, man?
The first time I
He's
met him,
scary.
I
He's
didn't know
scary.
it was a joke either.
Nate
It's
Diaz?
not a joke. He's really that arrogant.
Yeah.
You know, everyone thinks he's just
Oh, I
pretending to
see
be
what
arrogant.
Eddie was doing. See what he's doing.
I'm just showing my respect because he's done a lot for the sport.
Respect. So you said that someone was thinking about trying to turn submission grappling into a television show. Like, who's trying to do it?
Oh, no. I was just saying that people were trying to be like the UFC in the way that you were talking about how somebody be fighting in Bellator. It's like, oh yeah, when are you going to be in UFC?
Mm-hmm.
People are trying to do that. I've had multiple organizations now ask me to be exclusive to their organization.
For competing?
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yep. So
oh,
much.
no.
so-
That's terrible.
Well, if they pay enough cash, if they're paying you enough money,
Yeah, I don't know about all that, man. I'm in favor of look. The big issue with MMA is, and the big issue with boxing has always been that trying to get
Yeah.
the best guys to be able to fight the best guys. When you're exclusive for one promoter, or exclusive for another promoter, it makes things super problematic.
Yep.
Independent contracts for independent matches and no long-term commitment to things is
Yeah.
the smart way to go for grapplers, because
Yeah.
if that gets established as the go-to, then it favors the grappler, and then there's no advantage that the promoter has over the grappler. The
Yeah.
grappler could always find another promoter.
Yes.
So if the promoters get along with the grapplers and everybody agrees with how much money everybody's making and it seems cool and fair,
Yeah.
then that would be a good way to do it. So no one has a lockdown on the market. I think
No.
that's very important.
They're trying to, trust me.
you turned down the offer.
Yeah, I did.
Good for you,
wow.
man.
So-
Good for you. That
and-
takes balls,
wow.
and that's a smart
Yeah.
thing to do.
Wow.
Because I think if everybody just set that precedent and we created this market where the grapplers were the star. Like, this is what's important. If people want to see, fill in the blank, Marcelo Garcia versus Garry Tonon. If people want to see that match, the real benefactors of that match should be Marcelo Garcia and Garry Tonon. And then, of course, some money should go to the promoter. Some money should, but
Yeah.
it's what's the only thing that's exciting about submission grappling is the submission grapplers. That's it.
Yep.
Because if you're not selling that, you're selling air.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all you got. So if you're locked up to one organization, it also limits matches. There's matches you can't make. There's another
but
guy
what do
in
you
another
say about-
organization.
And
What
it
do
can
you
only
say-
do a certain number of matches per year,
Yep.
right? So what organization puts on
Yeah.
12 matches a year?
Right,
No,
it has the
none.
same guy every match, every event.
What do you say? I'm sure the promoter, whoever's doing this, I have no idea. I'm sure he's probably saying to himself, "Hey, if we want to be as big as the UFC, we're going to
Yeah.
do UFC type stuff."
Exactly, and it's just such a
Right?
flawed mentality. I feel like for the
Yeah.
sport, it doesn't
It's
make
so
sense.
young and it's so tiny,
Yeah.
and there's very little
And it's
money in it.
every single one
Yeah.
of these organizations, these professional organizations, EBI, Metamoris, Polaris, all these things that are popping up here and there, they're all doing amazing things for the sport. They're broadening the audience for submission grappling. It's so silly to think that you need to be just the guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Everybody
yeah.
is cross-promoting each other.
I like when
with
my
these
guys
organizations.
fight in Metamoris.
Right.
They're gonna fight in.
Hell
For
yeah,
me
man.
personally, my guys, Gio, Boogie, Nathan Orchard, my guys, I'm trying to get them on Metamoris cards. I'm texting Halleck, go, dude, how could you not want Gio Martinez on your fucking show? He just blew through everybody in the Abu Dhabi trials, all within 2 minutes, tapped
Yep.
everybody, one EBI,
Solid point,
one as a
man.
featherweight, one as a bantamweight, finished everybody. How do you not want that guy?
Isn't
you
it
know?
though,
I
because-
want guys to go there.
You think you're
Also-
dealing with a rational individual. That's the problem.
Well, the people that are doing jiu-jitsu, the people that are involved in jiu-jitsu, if you're involved in these matches, if you're involved in competition, most likely 99% of the time you're making your money off of teaching. Right? Most
Yeah.
of the people that are running these schools, that's where
Yep.
they're making their money. So it's not like a situation where there's this giant piece of pie that everybody's battling over, so everybody wants dominance. It's like it's beneficial for you to get your students into Metamoris because then they can highlight how good of a teacher you are. It's
Yes,
good. It's good
absolutely.
for business.
Good for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So that's
it's good
what's
for
missing.
It's good for Metamoris.
Yeah.
It's good for EBI when he comes back because he'll
Right.
never be exclusive.
Yeah.
He's always going to be an EBI, always.
Yep.
And so why would I want to keep him from Metamoris and back and forth? I tell Halleck, let's work together and let me
It's a
blow
smart
up the
way to
guys.
do it.
Let me
Yeah.
blow up the guys. And then ship them off to you. I love Metamoris.
Everybody
Super
makes the
prestigious.
most money that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And then we come back. We bring them back over to EBI.
I think this is the new way of thinking. I think that this kind of exists in everything.
Yeah.
It exists in martial arts, where martial arts today, like here's a perfect example, like jiu-jitsu guys are constantly trading techniques with each other, constantly showing each other things. The whole thing about martial arts in the old days, like in the 60s and the 70s, was how secret it was.
Yeah.
They had secret techniques, and they would hide from you these things. You couldn't teach white people. Remember Bruce Lee got in trouble for teaching white people?
Yeah.
It was
And
like a big
Mexicans.
thing. You couldn't teach Mexicans either. You couldn't teach Westerners. You couldn't teach Americans. You know, they wanted to keep it within the Chinese culture.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, now it's the total opposite. Now everybody's exchanging and everybody's just trying to find out what's the best shit, who's the best at this. And you get guys together and you match them up with each other. I mean, that's essentially the new thinking. And it's the new thinking for everything. And
Yeah.
the fact that this is how it is right now so far with jiu-jitsu, with professional submission grappling, is awesome.
Yeah.
That means it has a shot.
Yep.
But as soon as someone comes along and buys the whole thing and then wants to put on only, like you said, 12 matches a year, like you compete, how often do you compete? Like as a
Once to twice a month.
yeah,
at least.
see, that's insane, and that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why you're so good. You're not just training all the time; you're throwing yourself into battle
Yeah.
all the time. You know, I've seen quite a few of your matches online, and I saw the recent one where you what's the guy's name? The leg lock specialist, the MMA guy from
Marcin Held.
He's really good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
Does
a
a lot of
really,
great things.
really interesting fight. That was really cool to watch.
He was probably one of the most game people that showed up to that show. Like he was prepared. I felt it. I could see it. You
Yeah.
know, like man, that was. He was there. He showed up for that match. That
and
was a tough match.
for MMA, his jiu-jitsu technique is stellar. It's
Yeah.
really high level.
You talk about leg locks that work in MMA and leg lockers that are having success. Husamar Paul is the number one guy. Imanari back in the day when he used to go for leg locks a lot. Now he really doesn't. But he's still awesome. And then you say, oh, that's right, Marcin Held. Too.
Yep.
You see, because he'll pull guard right, just like Husamar, right into heel hooks.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the performance that really impressed me is your two performances in Metamoris, man. When you went against Kit Dale and you didn't even leg lock him, you guillotined him. That setup was so beautiful.
That's a
It was so
crazy
amazing.
setup, man.
Yeah.
Your arm was in such a weird position when you guys
you
were
tried
in a
to duck it.
scramble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in Metamoris, the whole Metamoris is in a constant struggle with how do we put together exciting fights. That's what it's all about. As soon as the show comes out, everyone on the internet goes, boring, boring. Oh, this one was great, or boring. It's always like, So if you have a boring match, people on the internet are going to fucking flame you.
That's why everybody was mad at Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe the last, I like them whether they're boring or not. I like the whole atmosphere. I like going to Metamoris and hanging out. I fucking love it. It's high level. There's a lot of money behind it. I wish I had that kind of money behind EBI. And then and it would be on like Donkey Kong. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love Metal Morris. I love it. Even when the matches are boring, I love it because then I talk to the guy next to me. You know what I mean?
He's just there to chill.
That guy's just trying to watch the matches. And Eddie won't shut the fuck up. He's high as shit. Yo, dude, if you had these nachos, they're outstanding.
Dude, everybody, the boring matches, when the gi matches come on, dude, look around at Metal Morris. Everybody is on Facebook and on Instagram going, boring, yawn. Everybody is like communicating right during the match. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's weird.
But, in the middle of all that, no one can say he's just saving show after show because his matches, he goes out and just finishes them. Everyone says boring show except for Garry Tonon.
Get Garry Tonon with 2 R's and Kit Dale. See if you could find that.
And then
that crazy
Zach Maxwell match.
Yeah.
Dude, man, without you right now, man, without you, Metal Morris would be, woo, you're keeping a Metal Morris afloat because it's just boring match after boring match. Again, I love jiu-jitsu. I understand boring matches. I think you got to get. I told Halleck, he doesn't want to go pure no gi because he feels like it's disrespectful to the spirit of jiu-jitsu and all that.
Yeah,
I told him, I go, do what Abu Dhabi does. You don't make the decision. Let the fighters make the decision and say you can wear anything you want. And you know what? When they have that decision, no one wears shit. All the guys that love the gi, they take it the fuck off.
You
love the gi?
Really?
That's how Abu Dhabi is. Abu Dhabi, you could wear a gi.
You can.
You can wear a keto pants. You can wear anything you want. The Sheik, dude, come in with some. At the last Abu Dhabi, the one that you were at, there was this Japanese fighter in a blue Superman outfit. Remember that guy? People loved him. They loved him.
He showed up in like several costumes. He's like Spider-Man, Superman. This
so if you do that, if you do that, the promoter is off the hook. Say, I want him to wear whatever they want. You know what? Nobody would wear a gi.
I think it comes down to what Joe said.
A huge advantage for the guy. You have all these handles and weapons.
Yeah.
You'd be wearing the weapon around your neck.
And the other dude goes straight Marco Huas.
Yeah.
Straight fucking those bikini briefs they wear in Paris. Those little tiny ones.
In Pride, you can wear anything you want. In Pride, you can. All jiu-jitsu guys go to Pride. The only one who's wearing a gi is Yoshida.
Yeah,
and
Yoshida.
Hoist. And he wasn't even jiu-jitsu. But all the other Brazilians, they're wearing those bikinis that they wear on the beach. They're shaving their legs. They're greasing
And
them
even
up.
Hoist took the gi off. Remember, Hoist started wearing the gi pants when he fought Akibono?
Yep.
Gi pants, no top.
Yep.
And here it is in Meta Morris.
Oh,
Pow. Halleck, please don't sue us for this. We're trying to pump up Meta Morris. No need to get crazy. And this is the match that made Kit Dale lift weights. I follow his Instagram.
Oh, dude, he was
fucking jacked now.
He was jacked during this.
Oh, he was.
Everybody kept telling me how much bigger than me he was
don't get me
be.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. He was very big, but now he's giant. Have you seen the pictures of him on his Instagram? Holy shit, that guy's swole the fuck up now.
Damn, you made him lift weights.
If you look at his Instagram, you look at it. Why are you looking? You're looking at funny like someone said something stupid.
What's that?
Like when they're introducing you, you're like,
because they called me a 5-time no-gi world champion, which is not true. So
how dare they?
yeah,
that's why
I was just confused.
How annoying. Chris Howder.
Whose idea was that? Who
Yeah.
put that together?
I don't know, man.
Chris Howder's an old school black belt, man.
Oh, yeah.
Old school Machado lineage. He's been around a long time. That's
Yep.
cool to see that he's refereeing this. Yeah, our video sucks a fat dick today. Dude, I love that rolling under.
Try to do the Imanari roll.
Oh,
What is
nice.
that?
Cut to a
photo
little
of
skyline
downtown
view
LA?
for a
What
minute.
the fuck is that? Who's running their Who's running the operating board?
Oh man.
So you pull half guard here immediately.
Yeah.
Kit Dale's on top of you. And what are you trying to establish here when you're doing this? What's your go-to shit?
It's Kimura's from here, or I'm probably trying to come underneath him for a leg lock. So
you're playing it light here, real relaxed. No one's going crazy yet. You guys got a long match, right? It's like a 20-minute match. So when you have a match like this, are you really consciously like budgeting your time and your energy?
a little bit. You use your energy efficiently. When I'll use my energy when I feel like it's going to help me attack. You know what I mean? I'm not going to use energy just to push and pull. You know, if I'm gonna use it to make sure I'm not in danger or to make sure my opponent's in danger.
So now you're going after his leg.
Yeah.
Damn, man,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful. What the fuck, Jamie? That's
And then
a beautiful
my outside
transition.
look at this point wasn't very good. You know, my form there is a little off.
That's a nasty transition.
There's
though,
definitely
man.
some
Jesus.
things that I could have done a hell of a lot better.
Man.
Fuck, man.
That looks deep.
Yeah, that looks terrifying. He's rolling here.
Yeah.
He looks okay. Damn,
Whoa.
Kit Dale gets out. How dare he?
Yeah.
How dare you, Kit Dale?
It looked like you had everything you
So
needed,
you go
right?
right back to this is your go-to shit, huh?
Outside heel hooks need to be perfect for them to work, man. There's just so much detail. But yeah, man, I'm back in half, and then
Awesome camera work, Metamoris. You guys save on lights. They go back to.
Kid's a very good passer. Very
Yeah.
good. He actually showed up to my gym right before this.
Yeah, I heard he was training with you guys.
Yeah, and coincidentally, dude, we were working on your
All
shit.
right, so then-
we were coincidentally working on it. Wasn't. I wasn't trying to.
That's what
like,
that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
He was saying, oh yeah, but they were trying to.
That's all we were doing for a while. And he showed up and he's fighting Garry Tonon. I'm like, I'm not going to change my. I got to show this to my students. So I apologize for that.
No,
but
it's all good, man.
It was not
Hey.
on purpose. It was not on purpose. I'd
It's all
actually
good.
never met him. He just showed up to my gym. Really nice guy, cool dude. I ended up following him on Instagram and all that stuff. But
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
I'm
says
sure
funny
we were
shit on
showing
Instagram.
kindergarten stuff compared to what you guys know.
What happened,
I
Jamie?
doubt it.
Is it the computer fucking up?
Yeah.
We got,
All right, so we get back out to the feet, and then I drilled this with my wrestling coach for, we do this all the time. We still drill it. Just establishing the underhook from collar ties and hitting a good snap down from here. So get a good snap down, get control of the head. Now he tries
Oh,
to duck,
Jesus.
and then I just follow it. And now my hands aren't connected yet, right? And then I'm trying to connect my hands and
fuck,
finally get it. Once the hands get connected, he tries to struggle out a couple more times and, finally sinks in deep.
I can't believe we can't see this. Jamie, we got to deal with that today, okay? This is annoying. This is a one time where it'd be really nice to have video.
I can get Zach to help you, Jamie.
Yeah, we can need whatever. We got to take care of that. Can you play it at all, or are we
Yeah,
done?
it just died. Hold on 1 second. It's still going.
Man, right at the sweet spot.
Okay.
Yeah. What's happening, Jamie?
There it is.
There it goes.
And you already tapped.
That's
Perfect.
Okay, back it up a little then.
I don't think
So
we're
this
meant
is
to see
what
it.
part where you don't have your hands connected yet.
Yeah,
You
because
just have your arm.
He ducked hard, so my hands were separated, and then I connect him. Finally, get that crunch in on the neck that I.
So you
needed
got
for
it
the
from
finish.
half guard here, huh?
Yeah.
Arm in or Marcellatine?
It's it's high elbow guillotine.
And you catch this from half guard all the time?
Yeah. Well, I don't set it up from half guard, but I end up in half guard for the finish, for sure. And then we come up a little bit, we reset it, boom.
Wow. Oh, you got a full mount.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Marcella, or you guys call it high elbow.
High elbow, but yeah. I mean, Marcelo uses it, yeah.
And
No
so
one-
you finish in
Yeah.
full guard with his
Yeah.
arm trapped. His arm was trapped. Was his left arm trapped?
I didn't see that. I'd have to watch it again. I don't know if I intentionally trapped it, but
Damn, son.
That guillotine right there, man, that was huge. When seeing Marcelo hit it all the time. The only reason I called it Marcellatine, I didn't know it was called high elbow guillotine. I'm sure there was a name, but I just stuck with Marcellatine so that in the 10th planet system, every time that comes up, and it's so crucial.
Yeah.
It's a part of our warm-ups that I want Marcelo to make sure he gets credit because no one's
sure.
had more success with it than anybody. I would say because of that success, he's probably the best at it.
Yeah.
I've seen him run through black belts. I've seen him run through a high-level black belt 10 times in 10 minutes with
It's
the
a key-
same guillotine.
it's a
Wow.
key technique, man.
Yeah.
John was preaching to me to get good at that technique for so long, and like I sucked at it for forever. Like
How are you-
6 to
It
12
takes a
months,
long
man.
time.
How are you connecting your hands?
I just grab. So when I grab like mid, so I go down past the pinky, in between the wrist and the pinky bone, and then just grab my. own
Always
hand,
left hand over the right
and then
hand?
Grab my hand. No, I've hit some on the left side in competition. I've gone the opposite direction. But in terms of like if I'm finishing it on the right side, yeah, left hand over right.
So, but
I've
most
seen
of the
people
time-
hit it like this. I've seen people do it with 10 finger grips.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. The difference between those, what Marcelo told me, is this feels so much easier for me. But what Marcelo says, and Denny does it this way too. But Marcelo, we went over it. He said he does it like this as opposed to this. Because the guy underneath is going to come up and reach and grab. And if he gets in between these two hands here, his fingers are going to come up. He could wreck the grip. You got to
Yeah.
beat the grip. But if he comes up here and I come this way, it doesn't matter if he
Yeah.
grabs the inside. That's how
Yeah.
dudes think they're doing the right thing. They're going boom, and they still get choked. They're going boom,
Yeah.
and they still get choked because he's coming around it instead of here.
I say, yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. There's a bunch of different, what we're talking about for people who don't know, if you're listening to it especially, there's a bunch of different ways to hold your hands with different submissions, and that's one of the interesting things about jiu-jitsu is that there's little tweaks that you'll learn, little turns and twists.
Yeah.
You know, like Einstein always likes to call it freedom rock.
Yeah.
You know that one guillotine where he, like, you know, you ever seen that commercial for Freedom Rock? It's like ridiculous commercial for like one of those compilation records that you would buy with all the turn it up, man. So like the turning it up is freedom rock, like the turning your hand to the side and forcing the blade of your wrist into someone's neck.
He basically named the squeeze of the Dars. There wasn't a name for what you're technically doing, you know. So he named it, and it's a good name.
It's a great name. It's Freedom Rock.
Just to remind you that it's not just figure four in your arms. You got to turn it in and squeeze. So. It's a smart thing.
It is a smart thing, and it's cool that there's those little technical things about jiu-jitsu. And for people that get involved in it and start realizing, like from the outside you look at it one way, and then you get involved in it and you start seeing all the depth to it.
Yeah.
That's where all the jiu-jitsu nerds come into place, because that's where it doesn't seem to jive. Like people are like, well, how come these like really computer-oriented, nerdy kind of dudes are so in love with jiu-jitsu? Well, you know, like Donaher always talks about, there's a video that we were talking about earlier that they were playing on the Underground with him talking about it being high-level problem solving under stress.
Yes.
And that's what's exciting about people who are, maybe they would be into video games, or maybe they'd be into chess, or maybe they'd be into all sorts of problem solving type things. But you get doing it in real time, the rush of success is so much better. Like the rush of winning a chess match, I'm sure is great. But do you think it's as good as you choking Kit Dale? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. There's no way. It's not even possible. You know, that rush is the ultimate rush. That's the you're dead rush. This is not like a bang bang, you're dead in a virtual sense when you're a Quake character. This is like you're playing death.
Yeah, somebody overlaid some of your podcast over some like jiu-jitsu video, some reel about like you talking about submissions and like what submissions really are, or what a tap really is, and you're like, oh yeah, I just possibly killed you right there.
Yeah, you're killing dudes. You killed Kit Dale. How dare you? You killed Kenny. I mean,
perfect.
It's also beautiful for people that are practicing it that you could kill a guy like that and look, he's fine afterwards. You're holding his hand up, he's fine. I mean, his neck was probably sore the next day, but other than that, he's fine. He didn't get knocked out, he didn't get beat up. So it's almost like a more ethical form of combat entertainment if somebody was going to put it on television.
Sure.
Somebody decided to put the EBI on Spike TV or something like that. It's like, you know, everybody has a problem with head trauma, like that fucking kid that just died. A boxer just died the other day of head trauma. It's going to happen. I mean, no matter what, if you have combat sports, but in jiu-jitsu, it's way, 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 way safer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way safer long-term for the participants.
Yep.
And you could still, like, you watch that match, man, that's exciting shit. I dare anybody who knows nothing about jiu-jitsu, just watch Garry Tonon versus Kit Dale and watch it with an open mind and watch those transitions that you're going through, and you realize, like, whoa, they're doing a crazy thing here. They're like, they're like, Helson Gracie. I had Steve Maxwell on the podcast the other day, and Helson Gracie, somebody asked him to describe jiu-jitsu, and I guess his English is not the best in the world. And he's got a little bit of an accent. He goes, "This is jiu-jitsu. You do this, then I do that, then you do this, then I do that, forever." Isn't that the dopest fucking answer? I mean, that is kind of what it is in a way.
Until one of us almost dies.
Yeah. You do this,
or
then I do that.
dies.
Or keep it up until you can't keep it up anymore, and then that guy beats you.
It's a super hyper way of killing someone and breaking their limbs. John Danaher, remember we hung out with him that one night? He said, if you look at it, striking is the least intelligent way of taking someone out. Grappling, that's the most intelligent way. Striking is the most caveman way of fighting. Just keep hitting each other's heads over and over until someone goes down.
Yeah.
You know, when grappling is like, let me take this guy down and scientifically put him to sleep and get the hell out of here.
That is true, but in a situation where you can't grapple with someone, like if you're in a street fight, would you want to be in a street fight with Marcelo Garcia in a bar, or would you want to be in a street fight with John Wayne Parr? John Wayne Parr is going to be head-kicking motherfuckers and putting people in the hospital with elbows to the face. Like, you try to get close to that dude, you're going to get your head smashed in.
Yeah.
Wow.
John always talks about striking
Yeah.
as like an ability to do crazy amounts of damage in such a short period of time. So there's clearly pluses and minuses to both.
Yeah.
In real life situations, Absolutely. You don't want to just go to the ground.
Yeah.
If you have striking skills, I wish I was a kickboxer. It would be nice to be able to have the confidence to throw. You could take 3 dudes out if your striking's good enough.
Right.
If
Like
you time
Melvin
it perfectly,
Manhoof.
if you time it perfectly, you could take 3 dudes out. For
Dudes
sure.
who don't know, and they fuck with Melvin Manhoof in a bar.
First guy's asleep, and
Dead.
then there's 2 guys left.
Yeah.
One guy runs, says
Yeah.
fuck that, and then it's 1-on-1, and that guy's dead.
He's dead. He's dead. Or
Yeah.
Badr Hari. Badr Hari, apparently, one of the reasons why he was in jail like more than once, I think, beating the fuck out of people. But
Yeah.
one of the reasons why he's in jail, they took this guy's leg and they stomped it and snapped his shin in half. And this guy's fucked. Like the wrong dude to fuck with, you know, in a street confrontation. So I'd say both sides. You know, it's good to you can get like super high level in striking. It is intelligent. It's more intelligent than wrestling with somebody. You know, if you're in a bar and a bunch of other people around and you're in a melee type situation, if you can be a John Danaher, you know, look, you could protect yourself for sure. You know, John is an excellent black belt. Anybody that goes 1-on-1 with him is just going to get mangled. Some untrained person who doesn't know any better. But
I'll be willing to bet that even multiple people that have tried to attack John had some trouble as a bouncer for many years of his life. He's had to deal with a lot of that. So
he would use you as a shield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Start using your arms to beat other people senseless with. But the point being, like, it's not unintelligent to have a John Wayne Parr skill set.
no, there's definitely an intelligent way to use striking, obviously, but you know,
or Badr Hari, or you know.
Hey, I didn't say that.
No.
I was just throwing Danaher under the bus.
yeah.
I didn't say it.
Well, I think
That's
there's
pretty
no,
much what me and Eddie feel like we're doing all the time, and just completely misconstruing everything he's ever said to us.
Sorry,
and,
John.
just ruining all of it.
There's no either
So-
or, because there's a lot of intelligence and there's a lot of technique to high level striking. If you watch like those Lawrence Kenshin breakdowns or the Jack Slack breakdowns on the underground, he goes over like the real technical process of why like Buakat or Yatsen Klai, one of the really high level Thai guys, why they're so good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on. That maybe
Absolutely.
it just looks like they're smashing each other with their bones, but
Yeah.
note how one guy keeps getting smashed and the other guy does all the smashing. Like there's
Yes.
there's
And
some
I
technique
know
there.
guys that are dumb as shit and amazing at jiu-jitsu. So, no, I know some really dumb dudes. Like,
Well, they're super strong.
and they're
super
good.
Strong,
It's like
super
they're
fast.
so good. I
Yeah.
can't say anything. You might tap me out.
I'm excited about jiu-jitsu right now. I think this is like one of the best times for it ever because of all the like people talking about on the internet and all these online communities that have formed. It seems to me like jiu-jitsu has a lot of enthusiasm behind it right now.
It's
more so
because
than
of
ever
submission
before.
only. The Gracie Nationals and Gracie Worlds, Rose Gracie proved that you can do submission only. Because before that, it was submission only. A submission only match was like a dream, like a fantasy. What if? Gracie Nationals, Gracie Worlds made it work, and then Meta Morris did the whole prestigious single match, UFC type event. And
What do you think Abu Dhabi should do? Because that's where all the money is,
think-
right? That guy has more money than anybody on the
I think
planet.
they should do submission only EBI rules. That's what I think. Not because I made it up. I personally think I'm constantly changing. Like the overtime, I'm tweaking it. I'm trying to make it. As soon as someone says, "Oh, what about if a dude does this in overtime?" I'm like, "Oh shit, we got to change it." I had a long conversation with John Danner about a month ago about the overtimes. What do we do right here? I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to see a glaring problem, and I'm going to do what the Japanese do. Someone presents a problem, they go, "Oh shit, let's make it better." I'm going to switch it. So, anyways.
The Sheikh of Abu Dhabi has the most influence, the most enthusiasm. I mean, he is a Henzo black belt.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to take Sheikh Taknoon is the guy who's going to take this and make it mainstream.
I think he should do each tournament on a separate day, make it like a week thing, every day a different, and just one movie that you see, or maybe 2 a day. You see it one at a time. You stream it. You do it one at a time. To me, I knew, I had a feeling it's gonna be that powerful when you watch it unfold. But when we actually did EBI 1 and 2, man, it was incredible. The people that were there were coming up to me and saying constantly, and I mean, they were saying that was the best jiu-jitsu tournament they've ever seen. It's only because they saw it that way, one match at a time. By the time they got to Gio Martinez and Jeff Glover in the final, triple overtime, the place went nuts.
Do you think it's possible to do something like this and stream it like a Netflix service where a bunch of people already have the service and all they have to do is just click on it? you know, or an Apple TV type deal where a lot of people already have, like if you get access to Netflix, you get access to 70 million homes.
Yeah.
And there's still people that, for whatever reason, they don't have the ability to get the internet on their
Yeah.
TV, so you don't get them.
Yeah.
But the people that do, the people that have internet connected to their TV, a lot of fucking people have Netflix, man.
Yeah.
So much so that they're sponsoring television shows. They're making their own shows. They got
Yeah.
this Marco Polo show that's pretty fucking dope, dude. And it's like a really expensive show. Like you could tell they spent a lot of money making this thing.
I'm down to take EBI to the ultimate heights. I want jiu-jitsu on TV. There's no reason why we can't have jiu-jitsu
Right.
on TV. We have dog frisbee. We have all this crazy
Dog frisbee?
dudes pulling
Yeah.
tractor trailers with their
True.
teeth. Come on, you can't
Yeah.
put Meadow Morris on TV. You can't put Abu Dhabi on TV. I think it's really simple. It's got to be submission only. It's got to be no gi if it's going to be on TV. You ain't going to put gi on TV. You have a better chance putting chess on TV.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. There's just a lot of matches that wind up being stalemates where they're holding on to the collar. And it's also, it's as much as it's an interesting learning tool and it's great to learn that if you get in a fight with someone who's got a winter coat on.
Sure.
The reality is when we're looking at sport, like combat sport, we're looking at jiu-jitsu and MMA, they should be interchangeable. And
Sure.
they're not. They're not interchangeable when you have a gi. They are when you have no gi. So it seems pretty cut and dry, straightforward. I mean, I think if someone just wants to do jiu-jitsu in the gi, it's fun to do. It's great. It's a great way to do it. It's a good way to slow the game down. You know, it's a lot of older guys like it, especially because of that reason.
It's like
not,
chess.
Yeah.
Chess is a great game to play. You have to be really smart. It's fun to play, but you're not going to put it on Fox anytime soon.
Nothing wrong with jiu-jitsu with the gi, but I agree that for no gi, like the difference between no gi and gi is it just smoothly transitions into MMA, except for a few variables like the getting punched when you're going for leg locks and stuff.
The UFC is the hottest rising sport on the planet. There's millions and millions and millions of fans all over the world that are the rabid fans of the UFC. There's no reason why there can't be 1 million of those fans that are into no-gi jiu-jitsu, because really it's the same thing, just without the striking. It's on the ground. It's the same objective. They're in the same positions. Standing, there's no striking. But if you love MMA, you should be able to appreciate some good grappling as long as it's exciting, the format's right, there's no points. And it's a single matches. There's no reason why you can't get a fraction of all those UFC fans. Realistically, I'm lowballing. If it's done right, if it's done right and marketed right, I believe you can get 25%, 40%.
I could see there being some sort of a cable television show where they do it, like a Spike TV. Like, Spike TV has Friday night, they have all combat sports now. They have boxing, they're having Glory, and then they have Bellator.
Access TV.
Yeah.
It's why
Not as many people have that. That's a big drop. There's a
Really?
big drop in access. Yeah.
over Spike.
Giant drop.
Really?
Big drop.
Okay.
Spike is in way more households than Access TV is.
Millions and millions more.
Way more. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Jamie could find out the actual numbers, but if I had to guess, I'd have the difference is probably like 50 million plus.
It would be perfect on Spike.
Yeah, well, that kind of a place where you would get where people are already watching it. They've already got it tuned in. Not that there's anything wrong with Access TV. Access TV's got some awesome fights. That's where you get lion fights. Like it's the only place where you could watch not lions. It's Muay Thai. Do you ever watch it? Lion.
What's that? No.
Lion Fight is probably the number one Muay Thai organization in America as far as exposure because of television. Like Kevin Ross, those legit Muay Thai guys with Muay Thai rules.
It's bigger than Glory?
No, because Glory's not Muay Thai. Glory is kickboxing.
Oh.
The difference being you can't clinch, you can't throw knees to the body, you can't throw elbows in the clinch. You can't do a lot of things that you do in Muay Thai. Like Muay Thai, real Muay Thai oftentimes winds up being a grapple fest where they grab a hold of each other and they blast each other with knees to the body along the ropes. Like that's a big part of Muay Thai if you watch it in Thailand. If you watch some high-level matches, these guys clinch up with each other and they blast each other with the body. They dump each other. They sweep each other all the time. And it's just a different thing when you're adding in knees and elbows. And Glory doesn't have that. Just like K1 didn't have that. K1, you could only, for a while, you could throw elbows with two knees, but then a lot of dudes came over there and they just blasted two hands behind the head. and then it became illegal to even throw knees with 2 hands behind the head. You can only use 1 hand behind the head.
If the owner of Glory came to you and said, Joe, I respect your opinion. What do you think we should do with the rules of Glory? Should we go full Muay Thai? What
full
do you think?
Muay Thai, 100%.
You would say that?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
How long can they clinch?
It's a better sport. It's a better sport. It's more exciting. It's the true art of stand-up. The true art of stand-up involves throwing stand-up, throwing strikes in the clinch, like Muay Thai involves a lot of elbows and tight. Muay Thai involves manipulating bodies and leading people into knees, like Alan Jouban, perfect example in his last UFC bout. The way he turned that dude into that elbow, that is Muay Thai applied to MMA. I mean, it's a combination of grappling your opponent and striking. And that's a big part of Muay Thai. And you don't see that as much in Glory because I think it was along the lines of what they were trying to do with K1. They thought it would make it more exciting if you had like less clinching, more exciting, and the guys wouldn't get cut up, which is what they're worried about for tournaments. But I think tournaments with striking is super fucking dangerous anyway.
Yeah.
I think they're asking for trouble by having a guy like Joe Schilling fight 3. He's fighting Simon motherfucking Marcus, and then after Simon Marcus, he's fighting Wayne motherfucking Barrett, and then after that, he's fighting Artin motherfucking Levin. 3 of the baddest motherfuckers on earth, and you're throwing head kicks and punches and elbow. You can't have elbows in there because you get cut up. So the idea of tournaments, like you're preserving, making sure the fights happen more often. But
So how would you do it? You would kill the
still
tournament?
shin kicking each other in the head. Shin kicks to the head cut you open like a fucking serrated knife.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen all the time. 'Cause you're always going to wind the risk of the guy not being able to get into the finals if he gets head kicked.
So
I think
what would
no
you
tournaments.
say? No
Tournaments are too dangerous.
And bring back full Muay Thai.
Full Muay Thai, no tournaments. Use tournaments for grappling. Tournaments are awesome for jiu-jitsu, for EBI, for Metamoris. Tournaments are the way to go. For kickboxing, 100% Muay Thai. It's a more effective art.
Is it too late for them to
No.
tweak?
No,
Are they
no
committed to
way.
these? Or is this like a
No, it's never too late. They own the
gospel?
company. They own the company.
They can switch it up.
Yeah, if they have Bellator, then they have a way more dangerous sport anyway, or as
Yeah.
far as like what the public's perception would be, because you're adding in takedowns and submissions. You're just adding elbows and knees. They should totally be able to do that. But and then more time in the clinch. Allow guys to clinch. Because those guys, like a guy like Simon Marcus, you take away his clinch, you take away a big part of his game. A lot of his game is he's a really strong guy. He's excellent in the plum, and he manipulates dudes, and he's blasting you in the body. Boom, boom. That's a big part of his fucking game. A huge part. Elbows in the clinch. That's a huge part. You take that away, and you're forcing them to just kickbox. And I just think it's not as good. Still fun. Glory's awesome to watch. Still exciting. Just not as good as if it was like full Muay Thai rules.
Damn, I wonder if he's going to take that advice.
I hope so, man, because full Muay Thai rules is also way more technical. You're watching way more, like you never know what the fuck, like a guy like Kevin Ross, it's a perfect example. He's a guy who fights total Thai style, or like Buakaw. When you see that guy use everything, knees to the body, elbows in the clinch, upward elbows coming in, step off to the side, leg kicks across the front of the thigh. They're using all these different techniques. There's so many of them. And then the clinch, knees to the body, elbows. All that stuff is a part of the sport, and you try to make it more exciting. That's like when Elite XC was saying that you would go to the ground, but only for 15 seconds, and then you have to stand you back up. We're like, this isn't fucking MMA! When Big Country had Arlovsky down, and he was working a Kimura, and they stood him up from side control.
Yeah.
He's inside control. He's got the wrist pinned down. He's feeding his arm through, and he's about to try to attempt a Kimura for him. They stand him up, and we're like, what the fuck is this?
How many times was there a bad stand-up during a UFC fight when I was in your ear, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden you let it. I love anytime there's a quick stand-up, anytime there's any stand-up, I love it when you say something about
There shouldn't be
I love it.
stand-ups.
At all. there
Stand-ups shouldn't
be.
exist. It's only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes to get a guy to the ground and submit him, and the guy's trying to kick your fucking head off.
Yeah.
The idea that you should be stood back up because it's boring. Look, if it's boring, then you know what's going to happen? Less people are going to buy your pay-per-view. Less people are going to pay to see you fight. You're going to make less money. If you want to finish guys, you're going to make more money. The market should dictate your style.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
the rules should be the rules of fighting. And
Yeah.
in fighting, sometimes a guy like Ben Askren can hold you down and do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yep.
And the idea that you get to be stood up, you get a second shot at kicking his fucking teeth in.
Yeah.
No, he took you down.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He took you down. He held you down.
your tools
Especially
away,
when
man.
especially when every round starts standing.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
stand-up for the striker.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
hey, if you wanted to make a league that or a fight company that was totally fair, when the fight ends, if they're on the ground in the mount, the next round should start just like that in the
Yes.
mount, right?
Yes.
Why are you starting standing up again?
And you know what I think? I think it would be more exciting. I think if
Yeah.
they just let the market dictate, just let it decide, just the rules, make it more primitive, make less rules.
Get the ref out of the mix.
Yes.
Get him out of there.
Get him out of the mix when
You
it
know
comes
what I mean?
to
Fuck.
subjective
Throw some
ideas.
tigers in there.
Yeah.
Like whatever subjective ideas he has of
Yeah.
what's good or what's not. Come on, guys, you got to fight. I go crazy. I'm like, they're fighting. What the fuck do you think they're doing? You see that guy kneeing that guy in the leg? That's called fighting. That's
I wonder
a
if
part
the
of fighting.
promoter is telling the ref, make him fight.
Of course they are. That was the Gary Shaw thing in Elite XC. He told them to stand people up.
Yeah.
So you got guys like Orlovsky wind up knocking Big Country out, which is kind of fucked up because Big Country was dominating that fight. And if they stayed on the ground, he probably would have stayed on top of them. I don't see Orlovsky reversing Big Country.
Yeah.
Big Country's jiu-jitsu is legit. He's a big fucking strong dude.
Yeah.
And he's working a position that he earned. He got you to the ground. It's fucking hard to do. A guy like Orlovsky, you get him to the ground, you get him in side control, and some fucking slob of a promoter decides that you have to stand these guys up because they want war.
Yeah.
The crowd wants war. We're selling fighting. We're not selling hugging. Blah, spit and fucking salami sandwiches flying out of his mouth as he's talking. That guy gets to dictate what happens in a professional martial arts event? That's insane.
Yeah.
And it's illegal.
How crazy would it be if there was a league that took out stand-ups and you started the next round exactly in the same spot? How hard would that be? Is that hard? That's not hard.
No, not only that, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. If people want to have a break, if you want to get back up, you should have to work to get back up.
Yeah.
If a guy takes you down and he's got you mounted, he's just punching you in the face and the buzzer rings, you didn't solve that.
Yeah.
You didn't solve that issue.
Yep.
You got an issue, man. You got a guy on top of you punching in the face. If this was on the schoolyard, if this was in a fucking field somewhere, that guy would still be on top of you.
Yep.
So look, we're going to give you a minute to get your cardio back to make it more exciting, but that's it. And even that, guess what? That's a little suspect.
Yeah.
Maybe the fight should be 10 minutes. Maybe the preliminary fight should be 10 minutes, and the main event should be 15 or 20. No fucking breaks.
Hey, I'm down with that.
No breaks.
That would be
I
awesome.
think that's real MMA. What's real MMA is not rounds. You know, I know the girls would get upset. They don't get to walk around every 5
They'd
minutes.
lose their jobs.
They would still be there in the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
There would just be a few less of these. A few less. I don't think they still are an integral part of the organization. They're beautiful. They're fun to be around.
Nothing
But I think-
wrong with Octagon girls.
Nothing wrong. It's not an anti-octagon girl rant. I love those girls. It's
Dude.
the importance of
Eddie,
fighting being realistic.
Where's the cage dancers and ring card girls at your event, man?
We're gonna use dudes. You know, we're trying to make it more friendly for gays, queer genders, transgenders, straight people that like watching dudes in their underwear. There's not a good representation of the male form.
That's a small market.
You know,
dude. I don't think-
there's a huge gay Brazilian jiu-jitsu community in West Hollywood. You know that, right? They go to all the local tournaments. They show up. They got their rainbow geese. You never
He's
heard of
fucking
them?
with you.
I haven't.
He's
Oh.
fucking with you. I could. There's a smile that he can't hold sometimes. You got to look at the corners of his mouth. They start shaking. Just keep it together, Mr. Bravo.
Did you believe
Keep
for a
it
second?
together.
What's that?
Did you believe?
Sure.
Okay. Good. So it worked.
Well,
Getting
you
rid
know, there will be someday.
Yeah.
It keeps going.
Yeah.
There will be. Gay guys are notoriously
Yeah.
fit.
Hey, why wouldn't a gay guy want to do jiu-jitsu?
Right.
You get to roll with other dudes? Come on,
Yeah.
get into the missionary. You get to take their back, balls in their face.
Do a lot of
It's
tapping.
perfect. They should be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
That should be their
Probably are.
their national sport.
Maybe this is going to inspire them to come clean with it. Maybe there's a lot of dudes out there. They're going to just take the regular gi off and they got a
I have
rainbow
nothing
gi
against-
underneath.
I have nothing against gay guys. I'm sure I have like 5 or 6 gay guys at my school. Hey,
Hey, that's
Ain't no
like
big
saying,
deal.
I'm not racist, but
Not
it's
racist,
basically the gay
just
version.
not to get out.
just don't get boners while you roll, and everything will be fine.
There it is.
There it is.
This
Hey.
is the gay version of I'm not racist, but
Yeah.
I'm
No.
not racist,
Yeah.
but why does black
that-
people gotta be so ignorant?
is that
I'm not
offensive?
homophobic, but if you roll with me, don't get a hard on because I am fucking beautiful. It's like what you're saying. You're saying, how could
is
you
that
not get hard
homophobic?
when
Is
you
that
have my
homophobic?
back?
A little bit.
How
If
could
the
you not?
guy if the guy gets hard, you're still gonna roll with him.
No.
The- the-
You're gonna go. You're gonna
Okay,
stop.
no.
It's
I'm
only-
You're gonna
definitely
say,
gonna stop.
You're gonna say your contact. Your contact.
I'm gonna stop.
It's only homophobic if you expect the guy to get hard and you're upset before the match even starts. You got to
Yeah.
let the guy have the opportunity to get hard and then say, hey,
He
man,
makes a
that's
good
not
point.
cool.
Makes a good
You
point.
can't like start off going, hey, man, don't get hard if we wrestle. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude. That's like hanging out with a black dude going, hey, man, don't rob me. Like, and he's like, what
Before
the
we
fuck?
hang
I didn't
out.
do anything.
I think only gay white belts get hard-ons. I think by blue belt, you learn to control it.
Listen, I think there's a lot of gay white belts that don't get hard at all. I think you're out of line.
I'm just saying generally.
Well, have you ever gotten hard rolling with a girl?
Never.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. And you're one of the horniest
Yeah.
people that's ever walked the face of the planet.
But I'm not rolling
I
with
mean that in
girls
a
all the
good
time.
way.
It's like
That's true.
there's hardly no girls
So
in the
with,
sport.
with,
But you're
with
still
increased
talking-
frequency,
but
you'd get more.
You're talking about
I would say-
0%.
I would
What's it
say-
going to go up to?
If I say that jiu-jitsu was the opposite, if we lived in the Twilight Zone and 98% of the people doing jiu-jitsu were women, and I was one of them rare dudes, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to do jiu-jitsu forever.
That's how probably girls feel, right? Just get mauled all the time by giant dudes.
Hey, you said that, not me.
Jesus Christ. Why is she entering the heavyweight class? She likes it.
Girls that do jiu-jitsu, they're like, this is a gold mine. All these
she
guys
does
are
is
in
play
great
guard.
shape.
Geniuses.
She's getting
Yeah,
ground
they're
on.
like,
Geniuses.
whoa, we get choked here?
Her
Oh my
guard
God.
retention is incredible, but she finds herself in north-south all the time. It's so weird.
That's ridiculous.
Doesn't even make any sense. Like, she's so good at retaining guard, but it almost seems like she turns into north-south from the bottom.
Yes.
I don't understand what's happening.
Oh, it's a crazy sport. It's a crazy sport.
Oh, boy.
The first girl when I was a purple belt, I brought to jiu-jitsu. She wanted to watch. She couldn't believe it. She was sweating. She couldn't believe. To her, she just saw sexual positions. That's all she saw was, how do you guys do this? She was turned on
By guys wrestling with guys.
by guys. Some girls like that.
Some girls do. Some girls want to find out who wins and take his sperm. That's what they want to do.
Or some guys
Right, Garry
like
Tonon?
some
That's a
good
guys.
point.
Some
That's what I'm
guys
talking
like two dudes getting gay together. Some girls like that. Right?
Dude, no comment on that one. No clue.
That's a yes.
Well, we have a woman in the room. Octavia Bourdain will tell us. She's nodding, so I think.
Do you know girls?
Right.
Do you know girls that are not gay, but somehow two gay guys getting together turns them on?
Yes.
See, in France,
So
right?
there you go.
Or in Italy.
In Italy, yeah,
Yeah, see,
bitches
it's
are
true.
crazy. That's a crazy savage type of
20%?
person.
Would you say 20% of women that you know, maybe? Higher.
All my girlfriends are into gay porn. We love
Really?
it. Yeah.
And it turns you on.
Yeah.
Gay
You don't watch
men
it
porn?
to laugh. You're not
Hold
watching
up.
it to laugh.
Gay girl porn or gay men porn?
Gay man porn.
Okay,
What?
we got to end this conversation before I throw up.
I was going to say.
I'm about to throw up on this
it's-
microphone.
You know what? I nailed it.
Yeah,
Right? It's true.
Watching some dude balls deep in another guy's ass and a
Yeah.
girl playing with herself.
That's the last.
Too much.
Our egos are so strong that it's so important for us to not get dominated by another man. You're like, his balls are right here. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna stop the choke right here, and his balls are right here. You're like, that doesn't mean shit. It's gonna hurt more if he taps me than if his balls hit my cheek. So you're just like blocking the choke, right? It's more important. You're not thinking about any sexuality at all in jiu-jitsu. You're thinking about not getting tapped.
Do you ban tie cups, those steel cups?
I don't ban anything.
You don't. You allow guys to wear those steel cups?
They can wear whatever they want. I'm not going to stop them from protecting their balls.
Yeah, no, but it's not that. The
Yeah,
idea is
increased leverage.
Yeah. Do you believe that, Gary?
That it's increased leverage when
Yeah.
you wear a steel cup? Absolutely.
Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you wear
arm
one?
bars.
Certainly more efficiently break arms, legs, etc. Yeah.
Do you wear one?
No, I don't wear one when I compete. I just never have, so it would be awkward to like start doing it right before I compete.
Seems like there'd be a massive benefit if it's illegal.
It would be. Some organizations ban cups and all.
Cups totally?
Yeah, you can't
Fuck
wear one
that,
because of
dude.
the leverage.
God damn it. I got another Einstein story. Einstein was passing my guard and he hit my dick with his knee. And I didn't think anything of it until I went to the bathroom after I was done rolling and my jock strap was filled with blood. Mr. Bourdain, you wanna
Nice.
cover your ears now. And so I
Yeah.
started, I peed and blood came out of my dick. I'm like, fuck. And I was trying to think, should I go to the doctor? Because I knew if I went to the doctor, I go, okay, what would I do if it was my nose? I go, well, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I would see what's going on. So I went home and I
A
jerked
little bit
off.
more important than your nose, though.
It is, but I went home and I jerked off. I just want to make sure my dick works.
Yeah,
Was
as
there
long as it
blood
still
in your
works, that's the
sperm?
There
important
was,
part.
there was
It was
blood in my sperm.
It was like the cover of the Metallica album Load. It's blood and sperm.
It was like one of them chicken eggs where something went wrong. You know, you get one of those chicken eggs, it's got a little fetus in it or something. That's what it was like. It was clumps. But it worked out. It worked.
did work out,
Yeah,
it
and
seems
then
like.
and then I peed the next day. I had blood for a few days though. There's blood that was coming out for a
Yeah.
few days. But it never got infected. I was
Yeah.
like, if it feels infected, I'm going to the doctor because otherwise they're going to be staring at my dick. It's going to be awkward. They're going to put Q-tips up there and then probably say nothing. They're
Yeah.
probably not going to do anything for you.
seems like you made the
what
right
I'm
call on that one.
saying is cups are the way to go because
Yeah.
that shit wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
especially like a steel cup.
I'm constantly squeezing my knees, and every part of my game, the knees are generally squeezing. So I'm in constant protect ball mode anyway. So
So you don't wear a cup?
never.
Do you ever wear one of those diamonds? You ever try those diamond?
Never.
You ever try it?
Never.
Would you be interested in trying it? I got them here. You want one?
I'm afraid
Guy
that
sent me
my
a box
balls
of
are going to
them.
hang out, and then someone's going to smash my
No,
balls like
no.
Vanderlei Silva.
It's like compression shorts.
Remember that Gilbert Ivo and Vanderlei Silva?
That's right,
The
yeah.
ball got caught. After that,
Yeah.
that guy was laying on the floor longer than that pain. You know that pain you get where you feel like you're going to get sick? He had other kind of pain, like his ball smashed.
I remember that. Well, I think he had a regular cup. Those regular cups. This is way before they had these compression short cups. There's a couple companies. Jocko does them too. A couple companies, but Diamond MMA, I think they started it. They have a cup that's contoured. Jamie, go grab one of those things.
They need
I got
to take
a bunch of them. They send
they-
them to me.
they
I don't have
need-
any affiliation with this company. I just want to say
They need to take
I
a
just-
mold of your dick and then make like a mold rubber jelly thing where
Okay,
it's
now you're getting
soft.
weird again.
No, where it's soft. I thought about
What
this.
if your dick gets
It's a
hard? Then it gets
soft-
trapped, and it's like you're choking your dick out with
That's a
your own
good question.
cup.
We haven't
It's a very
gotten to
good
that
question.
yet.
He wants
right?
he wants to make like mouthpieces.
Yeah,
for
like a
cocks.
mouthpiece, like
That's
an
what he
earpiece.
wants.
Yes, no, exactly.
Yeah, a mouthpiece
For
or
your
one of those
dick.
custom
But
ear.
You just
buds.
can't ever get turned on.
Yeah, yeah. So this
And
is
why would you? It's jujitsu. It's other sweaty dudes.
see they have a cup that's kind of contoured
How about
and
a
it's got
soft
some.
cup?
This is no, I don't think that's the way to go. The whole idea.
Still
I think
get
that the whole
killed.
point
You
is-
could still smack if your dick is
No,
hanging out.
I'm telling you, dude, you wear it with these compression shorts. These shorts are crazy. They have all these straps in them, and it's all to suck that thing right up against your junk.
I need a bigger
Protect
one.
your hog, son. You don't. You need to do it not outside your pants.
It's just too narrow, dude. I'm not saying I got a big dick. I'm just saying it's thick.
That's just not. It's bigger than this.
It's not that big. It's just thick.
It's bigger than that. That's all you're saying. But you should try it. It's a good idea.
I
but
commentated.
maybe you don't need
I
it.
commentated a match. It was Fernando Vasconcelos and King of the Cage in 2000.
I forgot about
Fernando against Shoney Carter, and Shoney Carter showed up with the cup. Like it looked like. I actually said on the telecast, I go, Bob Sapp called. He wanted his cup back. His cup was so tremendous. Like that was a weapon. It was like
Yeah.
like something that you'd wear at like Mad Max and shit. You know what I mean? Like anybody try to kick him in the balls and there's like blades and shit or something. It was huge.
Well, when you roll with a guy who's got one on, a steel cup, and they get on top of you, you could feel that thing. It's like a weapon. Like they're fucking you with
hurt
their,
somebody's
with
ribs
their
pretty
cup.
bad.
Like, yeah, you hurt your sternum, your solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to get out of that position. And in arm bars, it's got to make a giant difference. It's a big
difference.
chunk of metal.
Knee bars.
Yeah,
arm
there's
bars.
like an angle. There's an angle. Like you have a leverage point where your dick is.
And how about you put a dude in a triangle and you put
Oh,
when that
Jesus.
angle on their face is right in there?
Smashing
How many
them.
times you put a dude in a triangle and you're like, his head's just in the wrong angle. Like if you pull his head, you're just like stuffing his head
Yeah,
into
that's a
your
deci-
balls.
that's a decision
so I'll
you
be
have
like,
to make.
You know what?
Is
I'm
it
gonna try,
worth it?
I'm gonna try to tap him with like an arm bar or something
Well,
here.
that was one of the matches I wanted to talk to you about. Is your Javi Vasquez match?
Yeah.
Dude, that was such a slick submission, man. Because you're known for your leg locks, and it's kind of like Javi was defending well, and Javi has really good defense anyway. And then you switched it up and went for that
Yeah.
triangle and caught the triangle on the side. That was beautiful.
As I move forward with my matches and things, like there's certain situations where I'm just at all costs trying to submit somebody and beat them in whatever way that I possibly can. Specifically in that match, I had every intention, because I had just beaten like a really good leg locker Marcin held. I had every intention of trying to not submit him with a leg lock.
Really?
I didn't. Yeah, didn't want to, because
So this
I
is
don't want to be
something
known as just the guy that does leg locks. You know what I mean? I want to be known as a
too late.
fucking killer on the
No,
mat.
I'm kidding.
But
you
you
know?
were still attempting them though. Like what if one of those that you
I
caught
put
him with
one
early?
in, but I had no intention of finishing it. Like I
Really?
thought about finishing it and said, no, that's not what I want to do. I
So you
tried. I
decided
tried
to let
like
it go?
6 different times. I didn't let it go. He like pushed out of it really hard. What was I gonna say? Multiple times I tried to set up an arm triangle from we call it like a scoop scorpion, but it's what's it called? Lockdown, right? So from the lockdown position, trying to pass his arm across and set up arm triangles, because that's been what
From
I've
the
been
bottom?
practicing.
From
Yeah,
the-
from
wow.
bottom and top.
Yeah.
That's what I'd been practicing in training. That's how I wanted to submit him, but it wasn't working out. But I'd also been practicing some triangle setups. So that's those two ways where I was kind of going back and forth between that, trying to submit him.
When you set up the arm triangle from the bottom, do you try to finish it from the bottom or do you sweep?
I think my preferred finish the absolute best for me is to be slightly to be on bottom, but to be on my hip as opposed to be facing up towards the sky. So side on to the person, perpendicular. That's my favorite finish. But aside from that, finishing it just directly flat facing up, I think is worse than finishing it on top. On top's better because you can move your hips, you can move, you can adjust.
Yeah,
and
on
keep
top
it
it's
tighter.
always better. You got your weight.
Yeah.
But on the
Right.
bottom, the only way it's going to work on the bottom generally is you got to have that lockdown. And without the lockdown, because if I have the lockdown and I have the arm triangle on the bottom, I'm just going to stay there and try to finish it from there.
Yeah.
Don't you sometimes go sideways on a guy and you have the lockdown as well, which puts your knee at a really funky angle.
Oh,
Do
you talking about arm triangle?
Yeah, from the bottom.
From
don't you
stoner
kinda
control, when the leg comes all the way through, you still hold the lockdown. It's like you're going to the vaporizer, but instead you go for the arm triangle
Yeah,
instead.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a precarious position. You get a lot
That's
of
a nice
leverage
one.
from there.
It's hard to set that one up because once you go through the leg, you still have the lockdown, and it's hard to reach. You got to really scoot up there, and he's got to kind of give it to you. It's hard to set that one up because you set it up if you let go of the lockdown and pass the guard because you're basically in a leg drag position with a lockdown. It's the same thing. You
Yeah.
could pass and commit to that arm triangle. You could keep the lockdown, roll to a vaporizer, or you could get a vaporizer by just simply turning and then just sitting back nice and slow where there's no roll and you go to it.
Yeah, your match was interesting because when you guys were commentating on that match too, when you saw he got to that position on the side trying to set up that triangle, you got fired up. You're like, wow. Like,
The
this
Javi
is-
match?
Yeah, you're like, this is a bad situation. This is a bad spot.
I know that Gary's his guillotines are death. As far as I'm sure you have way more than I know, but I know I've seen you. I know you got all round jiu-jitsu game, and I understand you, and I feel you don't want to be known as the leg lock guy because you're really good. Like your guillotine is right up there with the top guys, and the way you get to the back. Elite level. You got a lot of stuff going on. You have a very active game from the bottom. Wasn't a shock to me. I mean,
So you've been training essentially in jiu-jitsu for about 9 years. Started out
It'll be,
wrestling for
I
about
believe
5.
it'll be 8 years the day of his tournament. March 22nd is my jiu-jitsu anniversary.
That's amazing. You've been able to have so much progress in such a short time. That's incredible. You know, I mean, that you must really love it. You must be just fucking obsessed with
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
since day one, for sure. I was just on the mats as much as possible. I never really took any breaks. Just constantly training and competing as much as I possibly could.
Do you remember what dragged you into it? Like, what got you so excited about it?
Yeah. So at first, just like the sport, I didn't know it existed until I was like 14. And my buddy was like, hey, yeah, I do this thing. It's kind of like wrestling where you get to strangle people. And I was like, get out of here. That's bullshit. Nobody lets that happen. I was like, you're a kid. Like, nobody lets two kids try and strangle each other. That's
You
just
didn't know
craziness.
about the UFC?
No, not at that time.
Wow, that's crazy.
I had no idea. Yeah.
So this is like
I was-
2004, 5?
Yeah, I was living with my mom. She was a single parent. That I mean, not that she would have disapproved of that or anything like that, but it's not like it would have been something I would have been,
Right,
brought
right.
interest to. You know what I mean?
they didn't talk
So-
about it at school or anything. Maybe you heard about it, but didn't look into it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a big part of the culture that I was in. You know what I mean? So I did. Yeah, nobody ever really brought it up until my one friend that happened to be training jiu-jitsu. Once I learned about that, that's when I started learning about UFC and stuff like that. I hadn't really, experienced any of that. So that's what got me into the sport, but not like obsessed with it. I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. Went to a competition. I was like, that's the coolest fucking thing ever. My mom was not about it. She was like, yeah, that's not okay. You can't do that. But eventually, I convinced her. And then what really kept pushing me forward was one turning point moment where I was training with Tom the Blast, my instructor. And I was training with somebody else first. And I was trying to escape a triangle. And Tom comes over to help me, like to try and help me get out of the triangle. I wasn't doing it properly. And I was like, he gave me advice, and then I go, oh yeah, but I usually do this, like in a very like standoffish, like talking back sort of a way, like a child would, you know what I mean? So I talked back to him, and it was really bad, like disrespectful, in the whatever way I said it. So Tom goes, oh okay, let's train. Let's see how well you get out of the triangle then. Let's go. So he trains with me for a grand total of about 35 minutes, I would say. Every 2 to 5 minutes after he would like submit me multiple times, he would say, do you want to stop? And every time I was like, no, because I didn't think my beating was done. Like I thought I deserved to get the shit kicked out of me.
So you
I didn't
knew
stop.
that you had said something.
Yeah, I knew. I knew right from the get-go I fucked up. right?
Right.
So he starts training with me. I get the end of the match leads to a sternum bruise the size of Iron Man's fucking circle on his chest, like gi burn, blood, like bloody cuts all over my face from fucking gi burn, and like literally it was definitely child abuse. Like could have been arrested if I like complained, you know, but I would never, you know, because I deserved it and it made me a stronger person. But after that, it was like that Pai Mei experience where, you know, in Kill Bill Volume 2, she's like, you know, Beatrix is getting the shit kicked out of her by Pai Mei, and she's like being held down by the arm, like, do you want this power? You know, that sort of thing. And, you know, I wanted that power to be able to fucking, you know, have control over my fate, have control over, you know, being able to, you know, defend myself against another person, be able to, you know, act in that way. And then from that point on, I was in love with jiu-jitsu, eventually, you know, in love with competing and wanting to teach and all that stuff. So
Is that what you do to all your white belts?
No, I don't.
Good idea.
I probably should though. If I wanted more, actually, I do that to my student that I'm trying to bring up, Gordon Ryan. I beat the crap out of him as much as possible and try to demean him and make him just
Nice.
feel horrible
Just
about
keep him
himself.
on the DL.
Yeah,
You know what? Big brother him that way
Yeah.
one day. Like Henzo always
Yeah.
says that. You know, even in his brothers that are younger than him, that are better than him, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm always their big brother.
Yeah. I try my best. I think that's how you make people good, man. For
There's
sure.
something to that for sure, but there's also something to just like being really lucky and having a great instructor.
Yeah.
You know, when a kid has an instructor like you that's so passionate about the game, like one of the hardest parts about jiu-jitsu in the day was finding a real good instructor.
Yeah.
You know, Eddie and I got super lucky. We found Jean-Jacques Machado.
Yeah.
You know, but if you didn't find him, if you were in like, you know, the middle of nowhere, South
Sure.
Dakota,
Sure.
and there's no good instruction. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to find like a really good instructor.
Yeah.
That's such a big deal to have like a good camp. When you have like a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu or Henzo's Academy or Art of Jiu-Jitsu, this is like these big jiu-jitsu places where all these killers come from.
Yeah.
It's such a giant advantage. It's so huge. We're so lucky here in Southern California. I mean, what's better as far as like locations on earth than jiu-jitsu than Southern
Thank God the
California?
Brazilians like the beach.
Yeah,
They
man.
love it, man. And Miami
densely
too, right? A
popular,
lot of them, Miami, yeah. When you find like the ones that are like, "Fuck, man, I'm gonna go to Toronto." There's a lot of
They
lot
try
of
it for a
guys
while.
up there,
They try
man.
it. Like
A lot of
Salo
guys.
went to Ohio for a little
Yeah.
bit, and I remember thinking, man, have Brazilian in Ohio?
They
How long
do
is
it,
that
though.
going to last?
Well,
They
George
rotate.
Gurgel.
They
George
rotate.
Gurgel's been up there for
But
a
he's
long
like an
time.
American Brazilian though. He's white.
Well, how about fucking Gabriel Gonzaga?
It happened.
He's in Western Massachusetts, man. He's in the middle of nowhere. He's in Ludlow, I think. What the name of the place is?
See, these places make people stronger. You know, that's you guys in California don't know pain, you know, and suffering. You guys get to live in this nice weather all the time.
To go from
Fucking-
Rio to that part of Western Massachusetts where Gonzaga lives, fuck.
Yeah, man.
Fuck. You went from like one of the most beautiful spots on earth to a place for 6 months. It sucks a fat plate of dicks.
You ever been to Rio?
What else do you have to do besides train, man?
Have you ever been to
It's
Brazil?
true. There's so much other things to do here. What's that?
Have you been to Brazil?
No, not yet. I'm looking forward to it for this next ADCC.
Oh, you're going to 8. Oh, shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't put out official invites
That's
yet.
Sao
but
Paulo, right?
Hopefully.
Oh, you're in 100%.
We'll see. I don't
Gio's in. He qualified.
Yeah.
So I'll be there for sure. It's going to be in Sao Paulo, August 28th and August 29th. I'm there. A bunch of 10th Planet guys are going, man. It's going to be awesome. You should go. Reserve that weekend.
Wonder
man.
if I can.
Gio's going to fucking be in Abu Dhabi.
Let me see if I can. I don't know what my schedule, my friend.
He
is
might
very
go against
difficult.
Rafa Mendez. It might be
Holy
Gio against
shit.
Rafa. You never know. Like,
Holy
what's going to happen there?
shit.
Depends how they seed them, yeah.
There's so many good guys these days. It's really really
Gio,
interesting.
seriously, is on another level, man. Is on another level.
You were
right
saying
now.
that a lot of his breakdancing strength coming from the breakdancing world.
Yesterday, I did an Inside BJJ podcast, and they asked me, what is the single most important attribute to jiu-jitsu? If you only have one attribute. And my answer initially was, I would like to say open-mindedness, true open-mindedness, but there's a lot of closed-minded guys out there that are the best in the world. So it can't be that.
That's a good
It can't-
point.
It can't be that.
That's a really
so
good point.
I thought about it for 2 seconds, and it has to be athleticism. Athleticism, you get a guy coming in who's been doing gymnastics his whole life and he's high level. That guy's going to get really good at jiu-jitsu in 1 month. In 1 month. And that's Gio and his brother Boogie, both of them just really quick got their black belts. Their athleticism is just off the charts.
Yeah, they could do the craziest shit with their hands, standing on their hands, spinning around, landing their balance. Their core strength is off the charts.
And the crazy thing is, Gio got so good so quick. He got his, he got his black belt like Cobrina did. Got his black belt in 3.5 years. He did capoeira his whole life. That's athleticism. Breakdancing, the kind of breakdancing Gio does, that's athleticism. That's like super evolved breakdancing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So he got his black belt so quick, but his rise isn't stopping. It's not like, okay, he caught up and that's it. That athleticism that got him that black belt so quick is going to take him to the next level quicker and those higher levels quicker. He is getting better is it enough to beat someone like Rafa Mendes? Because Rafa Mendes is unreal. Rafa Mendes' defense, no one ever does anything to him. Anytime he loses, it's on some advantage or something if he loses. Other than that, you can't do anything to him. There's matches of him or rolls with him with Andre Galvao, who's way bigger than him, and he's tapping Andre Galvao. Keaton Cornelius, there's a match online. He's way bigger than Rafa. Rafa got him. And
amazing.
I know there's other matches where maybe Keenan taps him, but apparently no one's tapping him. That is the top guy in the world at 145 in ADCC. We'll see if Gio's ready for that. Maybe Rafa smashes Gio. We don't know. Maybe it's too soon right now. Maybe it's going to take another 3 or 4 years to catch up. But we're going to find out. And I really believe Gio is on another level. I roll with him all the time, man. And I can't do shit to him no more, man. I'm like, fuck this guy. And he's lighter than me. I got 20 pounds on him.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we learned too. That breakdancing is a doorway to jiu-jitsu.
Fuck yes.
Gymnastics. Everybody always knew wrestling, of course.
Yeah.
His first month,
Yeah.
he was all over dudes. Like, holy shit. Sean Bollinger brought him over to me and said, dude, this guy is on another level. And he has a breakdancing crew called The Freak Show. And all of those guys were doing jiu-jitsu. And they all got good, all of them really quick. But Gio and Boogie are the only ones that stuck with it. The other breakdancers just went back to breakdancing. They dabbled in it for like a year and a half and got really good, all of them, really good right away. Professional jiu-jitsu in 6 months. We're like, holy fuck.
Well, there's moves that you do in breakdancing that require like insane balance and coordination
Yeah.
and strength. Like Steve Maxwell had me do these crazy workouts the other day where you're doing like this push up and then you pick one hand up and then you pick one leg up and then you lift the other knee off the ground by 2 inches and you're holding it there. So one leg's forward, you're in like a Superman position, right? You're holding yourself up with one hand and one foot on the other side, and your knee is off the ground, and the leg is up, and the hand is up, and you're just holding it. It's insanely difficult. Now you
got to show me after.
I'll show you afterwards. It's insanely difficult. But then you think about what these guys are doing. They're standing on one hand, and they're spinning around with their legs up in the air.
It's not that old school standard basic breakdancing that you saw in street. It's Gio. Their style is. They do crazy, weird things, and they're always evolving and new moves and that translates to jiu-jitsu to me better than wrestling, better than gymnastics. I've never seen it.
That's
I've seen him from day one. I've seen him come up, and what he's doing is and he's just getting started. This is just the beginning of Gio.
Cut to Garry Tonon breakdancing. I see you do. You bring your paper, your cardboard with you. You lay that shit out. You start.
Oh, yeah.
Gary's very athletic. His athleticism is off the charts too. He's doing backflips like it's nothing, right? He can do a lot of crazy. He's doing flying, rolling kimuras. He's doing that flying. What do you call that? Scissor take. He's doing all sorts. He's very aerial. So his athleticism is off the charts as well.
What's your ultimate goal? Like, what do you have like goals that you've set for yourself as far as your competition career? What you want to achieve?
Yeah, I think the main goal right now is to bring submission grappling to that level we're talking about, to where it's it's an exciting spectator sport that people can get paid to do, and it's like a career. That's obviously personally that's kind of my goal, but it's kind of a goal for the sport at the same It's
sense. Just perfect timing.
ADCC is obviously a big goal. It's coming up.
You're hotter than ever.
Yeah.
You're the shining star of Metamoris, EBI welterweight champion, and we're doing the welterweight championship. It's like everything just aligned perfectly, man. I'm like, fuck, I'm lucky that I listened to Scotty Nelson and brought Garry Tonon in. I'm lucky, man. I really
thanks
do
for having me be a part of it, man.
I appreciate this tremendously, man.
I have to ask you about this because people keep bringing it up. I hear you have a terrible diet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, vegans everywhere hate me. I don't know what it is, but
Why do they hate you?
Well, see, Metamoris, the guys that videotaped like the pre-fight whatever BS, right? So they're like, okay, watch a couple of videos that we did in the past, and it's like Braulio and Hidalgo, and both of them are talking about their diet, like, oh yeah, I just eat like a little bit of grass and like some leaves, and I become big and strong. And it's like, come on, man, are you serious? Hidalgo just eats like chia seeds
Just
all day.
papaya, my friend.
Come on, man.
Acai.
You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I was just like, all right, these guys really have this clean diet. I'll give them the real look at what my diet is really like, And for me, because I'm in between trainings all the time and stuff like that, it's just like I eat whatever I can, and I need a high, dense amount of calories all the time. So it's like cheeseburgers and pizza and stuff like that. I just, that's my main bulk of my diet. Now, when I weight cut, I know how to eat healthy. When I weight cut, I do the right things. I eat a lot of fiber and.
Do you make sure you get a lot of nutrients though? Do you take supplements?
I definitely take vitamins and things, and then occasionally I'll pop in a few vegetables here and there. But,
You really don't. So you don't eat many vegetables for real?
Yeah, not on a like real daily basis. That's for sure.
Me neither, man. I'm the same way. I eat a little salad every day, but a little bullshit El Pollo Loco salad or something,
Dude, I swear to God, if you just give it a shot, just try drinking kale shakes in the morning. Have a kale shake instead of what you normally have for breakfast. It tastes like dog shit. It tastes like
And that's all you need?
Satan's pre-cum. That's what it tastes like.
Will that cover my vegetables for the day?
Yeah.
I would imagine it would cover your vegetables for
Really?
the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems.
If you
I'm on it.
You mix up some garlic, you mix up some ginger, like a hunk of ginger, like a half a pager. Remember what a pager was like? Cut a pager in half, throw that in the
It already
blender.
sounds too hard.
Kale, celery.
Yeah, exactly.
and
There's
either-
so much effort that just went into
It's
How
him
about
true.
Garden of
explaining
Life
it.
chocolate flavor? Is that good enough?
It's
Garden of
okay.
Life?
I mean, look, all those things are good. Like, there's earth-grown nutrients that Onnit has. Garden of Life has a bunch of drinks they sell.
Garden
There's a
of
bunch
Life is
raw.
legit?
Very legit.
Okay.
Good stuff. It's definitely better than not having it, but the best shit you can get is fresh vegetables. That's the best shit. Fresh vegetables with garlic, some fruit, maybe pineapple or apple, some coconut oil, mix all that shit up together in a blend thing.
He's kicking everyone's ass. He's kicking everyone's
You're a bad
ass.
I'm not
motherfucker. You're
saying
gonna
that-
be fine. You're a bad motherfucker.
I'm not saying that me eating shitty is like leading to me winning or vice versa. I definitely think that for long-term health, I studied exercise science. I have a degree in exercise science. We had nutrition classes and everything like that, and it's clearly for like your long-term health, like eating well is like the right thing to do just as much as exercising is the right thing to do. But in terms of just my ability to do so on a day-to-day basis with my training schedule and with everything else, this is very, very difficult.
That makes sense.
But I don't take as much stock into it as some people believe, like, oh, this is going to be that deciding factor, that 0.1% that's going to make you beat, so-and-so. I don't truly believe that, because, ultimately, if I lose because my diet wasn't good that day or whatever the case may be, I really just don't feel like I was that good at jiu-jitsu to begin with. Like, I should be making improvements in jiu-jitsu, not that I, like I said, it's important, but like it's not going to be the deciding factor between me beating somebody or not beating them.
That makes sense.
That's just silly.
That makes sense in some ways, but in some ways it doesn't. Because if you think about, you don't have the ultimate optimal conditioning, right? You don't have the ultimate. There's always room for improvement, right? There's always room for improvement in your coordination. There's always room for improvement in your technique.
Sure.
All those things are room for improvement. How could there not be room for improvement in your nutritional technique? What technique? Like, how do you fuel your body?
There certainly is
what
a
do you
huge
use?
room for improvement in mine, but
yeah. But I mean, don't you think there's like a technique to giving yourself the right amount of carbohydrates at a certain time, the right amount of protein at a certain time?
It's a couple things. He's young.
Right.
And his body has a crazy metabolism,
Right.
and he's not being put in positions where he's getting dragged out into deep waters, and he's getting tired, and now it's the end. It's like
Right.
a 20-minute match. You're at minute 17, and he's going against Marcelo Garcia. Then maybe that's where the diet is gonna come into play.
Yes.
But right now he's blowing through everybody, so it is a matter of eats ding dongs.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't kind of make sense saying that a guy beats you, wouldn't have beaten you because of your nutrition.
I think for the most part. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
didn't
going to
mean
say, like the
interrupt
Crone Gracie fight, like the end of the fight was
Sure.
Was it just his superior technique, or was it a combination
Yeah.
of being exhausted?
Yeah,
massive expenditure of energy from both
At
parties.
that point, I was just in a really, really bad spot. I mean, the guy had my back with like a body triangle. I stood up, trying to last-ditch efforts to trying to defend the choke. It had nothing to do with my conditioning or anything like that. Was I tired at that point? I can't even remember, but I don't think I was tired. I think I was just in a really shitty spot, and that's why I ended up, tapping out, because I thought I was about to go unconscious.
Right.
Not because, I was tired or exhausted. I don't think I would have. I think if you put me in the same situation at a complete 100% right before the match, I wouldn't have gotten out any better than I did there, really. Yeah, man, I mean, I agree it makes a difference, but not. I don't think
Not
that's
enough for you to stay away from pizza.
Yeah, not
It's too good. I feel you.
It's not an-
I'm
it's-
inspired. I'm like, I feel better about myself.
If I had
My
tons of
diet's
money
terrible.
and like the ability to do that, like, oh, I gotta hire somebody to follow me around and feed me good shit all the time. 100% I would. But
Yeah,
that
but
doesn't
you
exist.
wouldn't want that anyway. That guy would be annoying.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
want
You'd have to fire him. Like,
agree.
how do I get rid of
I
this
agree.
guy?
Stop telling me to get the fuck away from the pizza.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
it.
No, for sure.
Hey man, get away from that pizza, bro. You got to train later today, bro. We got to keep our lyconupids up on a very
Good,
high
solid
level.
point.
And
I think
Yeah.
the human body is an amazing thing, to be honest, and I think that it takes pretty much whatever the fuck you put inside of it and turns it into what it needs.
well,
to
you
do.
know who was notorious for eating a cheeseburger before every fucking game? It's Michael Jordan. That was
Yeah.
like his ritual. He would go to Burger King or McDonald's rather, and he'd get a Big Mac, maybe two. And he would eat them before every
Michael
game.
Jordan?
Michael motherfucking Jordan.
There you go.
ate Big Macs.
There you go.
What'd you say,
Gary
Jamie?
wins.
You're talking about people who are talking,
Bang,
Jamie.
bang.
Steak and potatoes.
Boom.
What?
Steak and potatoes.
Steak and potatoes what?
That's what he ate every day.
Yeah, but he ate cheeseburgers before
Yeah.
matches.
GSP's like that too.
Hold on a second. I'm going to
Pretty
Google
big
this
Jordan
shit.
fan.
I was
You're
at the
a big
airport.
Jordan fan?
Yeah, it's his
Okay.
pre-game meal.
In
giant steak
2000,
and baked
when I
potatoes.
commentated for Pride
Could be
10,
wrong,
Mark
too.
Kerr, I met him at the airport at McDonald's, and he was killing McDonald's. I videotaped and everything just to prove that. Look at this athlete eating this crap.
Yeah, man.
Because I have to keep proving to people that it's McDonald's isn't that bad for you.
Oh, it's definitely horrible. But,
No, it is, but it tastes so good.
Is it going to drastically affect my athletic
I was-
performance
I
unless
was
I eat it 10 seconds beforehand?
Yeah.
No.
Every Friday, my mom would take us to McDonald's when she got paid on Friday, so it was like a treat. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
were raised as going to McDonald's. This is what we've been waiting for
Yeah.
all week.
So this is
so
Jamie
excited.
saying, okay, I'm incorrect here. He ate the same meal before every game, a 23-ounce steak, a baked potato, and a ginger ale.
That's not bad. Big difference.
That's a big difference. That's healthy.
Yeah.
Well, why did I hear that it was a fucking cheeseburger, man? God damn it. Who the
Sponsored
hell
by
was that? Was that
McDonald's.
somebody
He was
else?
sponsored by McDonald's.
Oh, so it was a lie? It was
it's
like
just-
one of those things they spread out?
Might have been.
Oh, okay. So is this like things
Yeah,
that
it's
are
about
just
Michael
like,
Jordan, you didn't know.
okay. He once punched Steve Kerr in the face during practice. Oh,
I don't
okay.
know where that bad.
All right, we don't need to see all that shit. But okay, so forget what I said. What I'm trying to say is his fucking diet wasn't that
So
good.
we got to take that one back.
His
Okay.
diet seems pretty
Damn.
good.
Yeah. But some people would take that and say that his diet's not that good with a piece
They're
of steak and
fools.
It
potato.
was it grass fed?
Yeah, probably not. Of course
No,
not.
probably not.
So
But-
it's just a slightly higher grade of beef.
Hey, what do you think of that
Also-
Carl's Jr. burger now? The natural burger. It says no steroids, no added hormones,
Yeah, it's supposed to be grass free, right?
grass fed.
Or grass fed.
Yep.
You know what, man? Look, what a piece of meat is. We have all these attachments to what it is, but it's protein and water.
Yep.
Okay. There's not a lot of there's good aspects to like some of the you get healthier fats from grass fed meat because you get a healthier animal. It's definitely better for you. It's probably more nutritionally dense for you. But you could get by on like regular burgers. You can get by on regular steak. It's still
Human
good for
body's
your
an
body.
amazing thing.
Yeah, you're still good for your body. I mean, your body's taking that animal protein and it's breaking it down and it's making muscle with it. It
Yep.
just does. And the idea that it doesn't because it's a steak and the steak's bad for you, that's stupid. It's a
Yep.
potato. Potatoes are good for you. Okay, you see a baked potato? Yeah, that's really good for you. Baked potato is
Yep.
the best way. There's vitamin C and potassium in baked potato. As a matter of fact, I think there's more potassium in a baked potato than a banana.
Yep. I think that's
So
accurate.
yeah, so that's all healthy shit. The people who don't think that's healthy are people that have an agenda. They're
Yep.
like either vegans or they want to promote like some really radical idea of nutrition.
My favorite comment on the pre-Metamorphosis video was Garry Tonon needs to stop eating cheeseburgers and buy some Proactive.
What's proactive?
like for
that.
zits or whatever.
Oh, because you got zits. Oh, how dare they?
yeah,
How rude.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you use anything like defense soap? Do you fuck with that stuff?
Yeah, for a while, Ghee soap was giving me some stuff. I haven't had anybody.
Defense soap is the best.
The best.
The best. Defense
They just sent me
rules.
a box of it. I panic when I get low.
I use
just such good soap too.
There's like that stuff that's like a surgical scrub that you use.
See, but that shit ain't good for you, dude.
No?
No, that antibiotic soap's not good for you because it kills your natural skin flora. The stuff that they use for hospitals, man, that's like
Yeah.
intense antibiotics.
Yeah.
What they try to do.
I only
with-
use it for my face, just because of the zits and everything. Yeah.
Even then, man, it might be
Yeah.
causing
Hey,
zits.
doesn't
Could be.
Proactive work though? Isn't that the
I use
only
it- I use it
infomercial that works?
I use it for a little bit. It worked all right.
When
but
you're
I mean,
23, sometimes nothing works.
you can
dude.
you can only use something for so long, and it just gets fucking whatever. Just wash
Yeah.
my face every once in a while and do what I need to do.
I used to have a friend who
Fuck
worked
it.
as a fry later cook. This motherfucker had the worst zits I've ever seen in my life. A lot of
Yeah.
times it's environmental. You know,
When
when
you-
you're
could be,
grappling
yeah.
all the time.
When you're beating
Oh, yeah, when I
ass,
have long
when you're
hair,
famous,
too.
when you're famous for choking people out and breaking legs, it don't matter what if you have zits. It doesn't
Eddie
fucking
Bravo
matter.
says it doesn't matter,
It
so
doesn't
don't worry
matter.
about
Yeah,
it.
Just
I'll
keep
just tell them
winning.
that next
Just
time.
keep
But
winning.
That's
and
the
it won't
plan
matter.
anyway. That's what I was going to focus on instead of my beauty.
I don't know how it goes with zits, but I know with your skin, it's actually important to not use that antibacterial soap.
Okay.
And they also say you shouldn't shower like any closer than a half an hour before your match, before you train rather, because it takes your body time to reestablish the skin flora.
Yeah, like the antibodies.
Yeah,
and stuff
Guy
like that to
Sacco
make
wrote
sure.
a whole thing about that. This is the guy who owns Defense Soap. He wrote a whole thing about that on the, I think it was on the Underground.
So you're
I read
not
it.
supposed to take a shower before
No,
you roll?
no.
Oh,
If you-
don't put that out there. Now
Yeah.
people are going to show up stinky.
No, just stick it. It's got to be more than a half an hour. More than a half an hour for your skin health. Like
Yeah.
and probiotics. You fuck with probiotics? You take any of that?
Only to like settle my stomach occasionally, not
Mm-hmm.
like for the prevention of like skin stuff.
Eddie Bravo preaches that.
Do you
Acidophilus.
get ringworm ever?
I've gotten it a few times. It's not like a consistent problem like some people have with it. Got staph once, so it wasn't. I caught it before it was serious. I don't know how some people like let staph go to the
They
point
think
where
it's a spider bite.
a fucking
It's a
hole
spider bite.
in your skin and like this big. Like, dude, as
Yeah.
soon as I felt like a big swollen fucking pimple, I was like, yeah, it's probably staph. I should go get that looked at. And I started to get sick. I was like, yeah. Seems about right. I don't know how people don't get that shit checked out.
Some people
bro.
are not tuned into their body, man.
It's insane.
I told you the Ari Shafir story, right? We were playing pool and he was limping. I'm like, why are you limping, man? He says, I got a spider bite in my knee. I go, what? I go, let me see your leg. And I go, dude, that's staph. You got to go to a doctor right
Yeah.
now. His knee was all swollen and it was like a zit. And I was like, holy shit, dude, this is ugly.
Eddie has a good story about this. He's training with a dude that had like a giant hole in his. Well, he didn't actually train with him because as soon as he saw the fucking hole, he was like, "Let me stay the fuck away from that guy." He's like, "Dude, what's wrong with you? You definitely have staph, man." He's like, "You should go to the doctor." He's like, "Yeah, I've been rubbing some like honey on it and stuff. I'm really not into like, the
Doctors.
doctor. I'm like into like natural remedies and stuff. Just gonna keep putting honey on it. It's gonna be fine."
That's those
I think it's getting better.
anti-vaxxers. Those anti-vaccine dudes.
He's dead right now, but it's
probably
better for the
dead as
human
fuck.
race because
Well, Brian
do we really want
Callen-
that to keep living on?
Brian Callen, his friend's wife died from staph infection, and she tried to treat it naturally and holistically. They were like doing like all these different weird things, and he said he came over the house and he said she looked like death and her gums were pale. And he was like, Jesus fucking Christ, get her to the doctor, man. Get her to a
insane,
hospital.
man.
They take her to a hospital. It's too late. They get her on the IV drip.
Yeah.
They're trying to give her IV
This is why people
antibiotics.
died at like 25 years old, 30 years old because they didn't do this.
Exactly. And especially MRSA, like the medication resistant, there's a bunch of different strains of staph that are really
nuts, man.
difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep rubbing honey on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
take some parsley and
Yeah.
just do
Yeah.
like hit it with the parsley.
Fucking yeah, perfect. It'll be fine.
Oh, those homeopathic motherfuckers are scary. You got to be real careful with that shit. There's sometimes you need medicine, bitch.
Yep.
Medicine. Fucking. Like, if you get syphilis, don't try to pray that shit away, okay?
Oh, my God.
You need penicillin, motherfucker. Penicillin. Don't go out like Al Capone. All right? They
Oh,
figured that
shit.
out. They figured it out, right? Use the smart dude's knowledge. you
Yeah,
know?
man.
It's like you don't just jump into jiu-jitsu as a fucking raw white belt, try to reinvent the game.
Yeah.
Right? You shouldn't do that with medicine either.
Yep.
You
Yep.
non-medicine having motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fucking try to rub honey on your staff. Bitch, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay?
If it did, we would fucking use that.
Yeah, if
you
that was
know?
the number one move, is to rub honey on it, man.
Yeah.
You know, our friend Bud,
Mm-hmm.
his mom has cancer, and she's been taking cannabis therapy for it. And they attribute it to a bunch of different things, but one of them being that she stopped doing chemotherapy, and it's at the same time she started doing this cannabis, and her tumor has shrunk by like 30% over a period of just a few weeks. They don't know if it was the combination of the chemotherapy and the cannabis oil, but they know that the cannabis oil has a big, big effect on it. And I've been talking to so many people that know people with cancer that have also gone that route and have started taking cannabis oil, that Rick Simpson's oil, and a bunch of different CBD oils. It's amazing what I'm hearing about
Did
this.
you see that Vice documentary on the measles virus and the HIV virus?
Isn't that incredible?
They're using the measles virus and HIV virus to kill cancer, and so far it's working 90% of the time.
It's amazing. Yeah, we live in good times, man.
Yeah, and HBO decided to put that episode on YouTube for free so that their gift to the world, it's showing the progress they've made. It seems like they've cured cancer. That's what it seems like.
Well, if not, I mean, they're certainly making giant leaps and bounds from where they were just a decade ago.
The measles virus kills cancer. How
Isn't that
crazy is
crazy?
that? And
It's nuts.
HIV.
Yeah, it's nuts.
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But you get really sick because they take you through it. And when they gave them this measles virus, they go into comas. It almost seems like they're going to die. But they were going to die anyways with the cancer. And then they wake up from the coma and then they're cancer free.
That's bananas. We live in crazy times, man.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is the last question because we're almost out of time, right?
Yeah.
5 minutes left. What do you think about performance-enhancing drugs? Because that is a big issue with jiu-jitsu. Steve Maxwell was just raving about it the other day. He's like, they need to do that in jiu-jitsu. There's too many guys that are on the juice.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, because it's not,
not
illegal in any
regulated.
sense. I mean, they have like some light testing that they do for like IBJJF, but it's like one of those situations again where like if people know what to do, like I mean, they have advanced notice of the event coming up. They know if they could be tested, whatever.
Did they pee after the event? Is that what it is?
What's that?
They pee after the event? Is it urine?
Yeah, they test randomly like 10 dudes or something like that. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's something stupid. I mean, it's a step in a direction, but yeah, I mean, it's clearly rampant. As to what to do about it, like you either need to. There's only two routes. There's one, you just don't do anything, okay, and then everybody has their option to use it or not use it, which whatever. I mean, obviously the people that choose not to are going to suffer in terms of the disadvantage and not the strength. And then the other way to go about it is you have to do it fucking right and just have random testing all the time and in a way where people can't fucking cheat it. You know what I mean? Because if some camps get really, which is what happens in MMA, some camps get really, really good at figuring out what the ways are to cheat the tests or this, that, and the other thing, and then other guys aren't gonna fucking go through that. I mean, it gives those guys an advantage over the other guys that aren't. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, of course.
So it's, I mean, dude, in a perfect world, it's like, yeah, let's get rid of it. But it just seems like there's always a way to fucking hide it or always a way to do whatever. So I'm just going to keep trying to get better at jiu-jitsu and, hopefully that saves me instead of bulging biceps. We'll see.
Well, we've also seen a bunch of guys who are jiu-jitsu guys that got into MMA and then got caught when they got into MMA. Because then they get tested a little bit more thoroughly, and it turns out they were probably using it the entire time.
Yeah, there's tons of that for sure. Jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever the case may be.
What do you think about this situation that MMA finds itself in right now? I mean, looking at MMA, as a future prospect, getting involved in it, and you see all this, all these guys are testing positive. It's kind of freaky.
Something that Ronda Rousey said was kind of interesting about the idea that, like, oh, this isn't like baseball where we're using steroids to hit a ball harder. We're using steroids and people are fucking getting knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean? And that's scary, you know, in the sense that people are getting stronger and stronger and have the ability to do serious damage to people, So in that sense, in a martial art, I think that's super dangerous, I just, I don't know what the answer is, you know what I mean, in terms of what they should do or whatever the case may be with PEDs, but just because and it's not even just steroids, there's tons of other stuff. People could be taking EPOs and all different kinds of things,
Well, there was an article recently online where they were saying that these businessmen, these middle-aged businessmen are taking EPO and winning cycling races. Just entering into amateur cycling races on EPO and winning them.
Yeah.
And it just gives you just such a giant advantage when you're dealing with someone who has some cycling. You are cycling, so you have the muscle strength, and then all of a sudden you have this superhuman endurance.
Yeah.
It's just fucked. It's fucked. It's weird. And it's weird that so many MMA fighters are testing positive for it now.
Yeah.
EPO?
Well, Ali Bagutinov, who fought for the title against Mighty Mouse Johnson, he tested positive for EPO. Shane Mosley tested positive for EPO back in the day. It's,
You think that's really, you'd say, I mean, people always say, a large percentage of professional athletes are on steroids, da-da-da. Do you think a large percentage of them are on EPO as well? Because cardio is so huge.
I know of many that have been on EPO. I know of many that were on EPO back in the day. At least I know from the anecdotal stories that I heard from people that trained with them, that there was guys that would take. It was the Wild West,
Do
man.
you shoot EPO or eat it?
It's a good question.
I think they have a
shoot it.
pill form now, though.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong about that, but I think that they've made major advances. So they used to have to do like blood transfusions in order to do it properly.
Yeah, well, there's still guys, I'm sure, that blood dope. I'm sure they do that because there's no test for that. When you take your own blood out of your body, you make weight. Your body has that blood regenerated in your body, and then you add more blood to your body. You have more oxygen carrying capability.
Yeah.
Doesn't it take 2 weeks, though, for your body to make that blood?
It's a good question. I don't know how long it takes, but guys could easily get a blood transfusion 2 weeks out. As a matter of fact, that would give you plenty of time to recover. If you wanted to do that, if you take Saturday and Sunday off, you train all week, you just say, okay, I'm going to get a blood transfusion Friday, or a blood withdrawal. They're going to take my blood out Friday. You have the weekend to recover. You go back on Monday, you start training again, and then they hold on to that blood for 2 weeks and then jack that shit back in your system. You would most certainly have some sort of a performance advantage from that, and I don't think they can detect that. I really don't.
Yeah.
That was what the bikers used to do. That was what all the cyclists used to do.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating time where people are learning more and more about how to cheat and then how to stop cheating.
Yeah.
Like the shit that Hector Lombard got caught for, I've never even heard of it before. It's some designer steroid that was like really expensive, exotic shit.
Yeah.
That it was like that clear stuff that Barry Bonds and the Victor Conte stuff where they thought that nobody knew how to detect it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's tricky. It's very tricky. But Ronda's point is as valid as fuck.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. There are landing punches that you probably wouldn't be able to land. You're doing damage, and especially when you're dealing with some sort of a war where one person surges and comes on at the end and stops that person. That's probably a big part of it.
Yep.
Eddie Bravo's feet are on the table.
Oh,
it
is
might
that
be
bad?
time to end this fucking podcast. Yeah,
I'm just
what if someone
stretching. I'm
drops
stretching.
a chip and has to eat your fucking heel skin.
I just showered. Excuse me.
This is where people eat and they drink coffee. This is not for you to put your feet. You
sorry.
son
Sorry.
It's fucking
dare you.
jiu-jitsu people. We're
I know.
fucking savages,
Especially
dude.
Eddie. Eddie's always got his feet out the window, his feet on mirrors
Fucking
and shit.
sitting against walls when there's chairs, and I'm surprised I'm not sitting against the fucking wall right now.
He's
sitting in
always
the chair.
double lotused.
Yeah.
I'm paranoid.
Tomorrow, Eddie Bravo Invitational, only live on pay-per-view, budovideos.com
/EBI.
/EBI.
4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 7 p.m. Eastern.
Googly Moogly, and Garry Tonon will be there throwing the fuck down.
16-man tournament, and Gary's the returning champion. There's got a lot of killers, man. Dara O'Connell, he beat you in the BJJ Kumite?
Yeah, in the gi, he guillotined me way back in the day when we were brown belts.
Okay,
If
so
you live
maybe
in
it's a
Los
rematch,
Angeles,
right?
We'll see.
If you live in Los Angeles, tomorrow it's at the Orpheum Theater in downtown LA. You can get tickets there. Can you get tickets off your website?
EddieBravoInvitational.com. You
There
can
it
get
is.
tickets.
Look at this, goddammit. This is fucking chaos. $10,000 grand prize. I dare anyone to watch this and tell me this is not exciting. This is some crazy shit.
And this is all about encouraging urgency. So
Hell
what
yeah.
I did is winner take all. It's like a game show. No one else gets paid, just the winner, to ensure urgency. And so the winner has to win 4 matches, and he only gets paid on the matches he wins in regulation. So there's $2,500 per match. So it's a possible 10 grand that he could win. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to go 50 grand. We're going to go 100 grand. Eventually $1 million.
Boom. That's it. Eddie Bravo Invitational. It's going down tomorrow at the Orpheum Theater. The Orpheum Theater, I'll say it again, in downtown LA. Again, budovideos.com /EBI. You can follow Eddie on Twitter. It's Eddie Bravo, all one word. You can follow Garry Tonon on Twitter. It's Garry, 2 R's, _TONON. Gary, thank you very much, man. I'm
Thanks so
looking
much
forward to
for
seeing you
having me.
fight tomorrow. It's going to be, I should say, compete tomorrow.
It's going to be fucking nuts.
Don't like the word fight.
It's gonna be
nuts. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be awesome. And it's if you're this is your first event that you're going to go to or going to see live on pay-per-view, you will not be disappointed. There are some motherfucking savages at this. So thanks to everybody tuning in. Thanks to Defense Soap. You guys are the shit. DefenseSoap.com. And we'll see you next week. Much love. Big kiss.
Dude, I've been